Welcome to the NASCAR Truck Series here at Michigan. We are almost all set for what is going to be an absolute classic. We have over 250 miles, 125 laps ahead of us for all of the action. Let's hand you back over to the radio station for all of the action from tonight's broadcast. In around about 30 seconds' time, when our equipment decides it wants to let you go back through now.
Sandusky, Ohio, which is not far across the border between the state here in Michigan and the Buckeye state of Ohio.
We're going to put a driver spotlight right now, presented by Toyota, on a youngster making his first Truck Series start here at Michigan International Speedway. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com. That driver is Gio Ruggiero, and he is with Chris Wilner.
The 18-year-old from Seacock, Massachusetts, makes his first Truck Series start here today. But just like your teammate Corey Heim, you ran the ARCA race yesterday. Curious to get your perspective on the benefits of not only running the race yesterday, but maybe what you learned to apply to the truck today.
Yeah, it was good that I got to run the race yesterday, get some laps. I definitely learned a lot about how the air is going to work here today, and it's definitely going to be pretty important. I think the truck race today is going to have super big runs, so just got to figure out how to time the runs and set up passes right and not get hung up on the bottom lane. So excited. I think we got a good truck here and just ready to get after it.
As someone who's still learning kind of the art of dirty air and how to get around that, what have you figured out about where you can place your truck to make advantages and not get kind of caught in that air wash?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is track position, right? The closer you are to the front, I feel like the better the truck drives. So that's important. Just got to, be patient and not put yourself in bad spots. I think, especially here, it seems if you get to the bottom lane, especially on the front stretch, you can definitely get freight train from the top coming by. So just got to protect the right rear and stay out front.
Best of luck today.
Thank you.
Gio Ruggiero is going to have plenty of experience starting 20th today in the JBL Toyota.
Gio Ruggiero is outside of playoff territory. He's 48 below the cut. The driver behind him, Stuart Friesen's got a couple of top 10 finishes here at Michigan, and he hopes to get that elusive win today. He's with Steve Post.
Yeah, and Stuart's down here leading up against the truck. Starts in the 17th spot. Stuart, we were just talking about you need to gain some points. You need to maybe even win a race. What's your sense of urgency as we sit here with 6 races to go in the regular season?
We just need to be consistent, I don't think we're in a must-win situation yet as far as the playoffs go, but we just need to be consistent, gather some stage points if we can and have the strong finishes that we're capable of.
How was your truck in practice yesterday?
It was okay. It wasn't great. There was some stuff, we definitely needed to work on, so we made use of most of the practice and made some good changes after that, and we'll see how it fires up. It's pretty good by itself, a little tight, following in dirty air, so that's the stuff that we worked on.
Let's see if we can free that up. That's Stuart Friesen. Spent some time in victory lane this week. He won in the Super Dirt Car Series up at the Big Half Mile in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania on Wednesday night.
He is a talented driver, and he has been a little frustrated and, quite honestly, a little down here this year with all the bad luck that they have had in their truck endeavors here in 2025. Kind of feel bad for the guy.
Well, I mean, he had that one crash a few weeks ago. They said, I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know if we're going to continue. Every driver has that moment in his racing career or her racing career where they start questioning everything, especially when you're putting in max effort but you're getting minimum results back. Some have been self-induced, some have not, but Alex, it's just a part of the ups and downs of racing.
It's tough, and especially like Steve Post pointed out, he wins so frequently in the big block modifieds around the Northeast that he expects to win races, and it's more difficult at this level. This is the national stage here, and it's a difficult task.
Perhaps, though, today could be the day for him because his trucks have had a lot of speed over the years, and he has been able to finish in the top 10 in years prior. Let's go trackside right now for pre-race ceremonies here at Michigan.
Please rise as you are able. Remove your hats, and veterans render a hand salute as the Belleville Navy Junior ROTC Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to perform today's invocation, and please welcome from St. Francis de Sales High School, Father Jeff Rose.
Almighty God, we thank you for a beautiful day here at Michigan International Speedway. We ask your blessing on, and we thank all those that make this wonderful weekend possible. We thank you for the incredible fans gathered here this afternoon as well. And we ask your blessing on the servicemen and women who keep us safe each and every day. Bring them home to us soon. And we ask that you keep our drivers and team safe as they compete for us today. We ask all these things with great faith, hope, and love. Amen.
Here to perform the Canadian anthem, please welcome Michigan International Speedway's own Lisa Bascom.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Here to perform the Star-Spangled Banner, please welcome the Airport High School Band.
Pre-race ceremonies wrapping up trackside as we get closer to firing in the engines to get today's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race underway.
NASCAR Live Race Day has been brought to you by Toyota. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com.
There will always be more leaves, weeds, and yard debris. And when they show up, tackle yard cleanup with the Craftsman V20 Brushless RP Outdoor lineup. Delivering more runtime and better performance, the Craftsman V20 Brushless RP lineup of outdoor products will help you cut, trim, and blow through whatever your yard throws at you. Your grass, no problem. Overgrown hedges, not anymore. A neighbor who won't stop distracting you with weather talk? Well, you're on your own there. But for everything else, head to Craftsman.com. Craftsman, build on. See Craftsman.com for details. details.
Do you have an unused car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or RV taking up space? Put it to good use by donating it to the NASCAR Foundation. Proceeds help fund medical resources for children in our racing community. Your wheels can heal. Call 844-NASCAR-9 and we'll come tow away your vehicle for free. The process is quick and your gift is tax deductible. Call 844-NASCAR-9 to donate your vehicle to the NASCAR Foundation today. Your donation will help our children survive and thrive.
Even though it's been since 2020 since we last raced the trucks here, and some of the drivers in today's race have raced here before, nobody entered in today's race has won a truck race here at Michigan. From Michigan International Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Every time the siren sounds or lights flash, someone's life is on the line. At Whelen Engineering, we know first responders carry that weight every day. That's why for over 70 years, we've led the emergency warning industry, designing and manufacturing the lights, sirens, and safety systems they trust right here in America. Because when the mission is critical, there's no room for second best. Whelen Engineering, trusted to protect first responders.
At Eero, we believe it's time to get more Wi-Fi from your Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi that delivers on the promise of Wi-Fi 7 with lightning-fast speeds and minimal latency. Wi-Fi that lets us do all the things all at once and keeps us safe at the same time. It's time for Wi-Fi that's so reliable and easy, you don't even have to think about it. It's not too good to be true. It's just Eero. Learn more at Eero.com. That's EERO.com. Eero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
Live on the NASCAR Racing Network. It's the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Let's get a big thumbs up. Get ready to rock and roll past the race cars today, pal. Poor boys, let's execute. Have a good day.
Today, the DQS Solutions and Staffing 200, powered by Precision Vehicle Logistics from Michigan International Speedway. Brought to you by DQS Solutions and Staffing, powered by Precision Vehicle Logistics. Proud sponsors of Michigan International Speedway. By Craftsman. Runs long, works great, won't slow you down. The Craftsman V20 brushless RP lineup, built for the backyard and beyond. See Craftsman.com for details. By Toyota. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com. And by Sunoco. From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco fuels peak performance.
Sun is shining here at Michigan International Speedway. Again, we are battling heavy smoke from the Canadian wildfires that's making its way down here across the Great Lakes region of the United States. Temperatures in the low 70s right now here at Michigan International Speedway.
Of course, the race we have on deck for you today, 250 laps, 156.25 miles. Stage breaks will come at laps 30 and 60, setting up stage bursts of 30, and 65 laps.
These teams, Todd Gordon, had a 50-minute practice session yesterday. All teams are able to go out on the track together, run some by yourself if you could, draft a little bit. 50 minutes is a bit unique for this series.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a longer practice, but warranted when you come to the first time you come back to this racetrack for most of these drivers ever, but definitely in 4 or 5 years. So a good learning opportunity for guys to sort out a little bit on the trucks.
Circling back to what I said earlier, this series was founded on short tracks, and when these trucks first went to these wide, sweeping racetracks, they put on spectacular racing, always have, and we expect more of the same today. Right now, trackside, drivers are buckled into their race trucks, and we are getting set to go trackside to get the command to fire up the engines.
Michigan International Speedway. Give a big NASCAR welcome to River Rouge alum and Michigan State football wide receiver Nick Marsh and the president of DQS, Michael Gorno. They're here today to say the most famous words in motorsports. Take it away.
Go green! Go green! The moment you all been waiting for. Drivers, start your engine!
The engines come to life on the pit lane as we get set to go for 250 miles for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Start your engines with DQS Solutions and Staffing, proud sponsor of Michigan International Speedway. We deliver end-to-end workforce solutions in staffing, security, warehousing, transportation, and beyond. Whether you're scaling your operations or finding your next opportunity, we're driven to accelerate your business and your future. Learn more today at dqstaff.com.
I'm Kyle Petty, and I want to tell you about a place that's near and dear to my heart, Victory Junction. It's a year-round camp that gives kids with complex medical and physical conditions life-changing experiences that are fun, empowering, and always free for families. Please help Victory Junction support kids who need it the most by getting involved today. Whether you know a child who could benefit, want to volunteer, or join our team, you can be a part of something truly special. Learn more by visiting victoryjunction.org.
From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Hello?
Hey, Tim. It's your man tank. I think those veggies in the crisper are drying up.
I know. I've been meaning to eat those. I'll get around to it.
Get around to it.
I will, man. Jeez. All right?
Or just eat Jack Link's jerky. Smoked, seasoned. Some real meat would do you a lot of good, Tim. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, official meat snack of NASCAR. Feed your wild side.
We are under the green flag.
Listen up, NASCAR fans. Now's the time to turn your love of racing into big-time prizes. Because NASCAR Fantasy Live is your fast lane to bragging rights.
Furious racing here.
Pick 5 drivers each week of the season. Then complete additional challenges to stack points. All for your shot at the grand prize.
So let's get this party started.
For official rules and to learn more, visit NASCAR.com/fantasy and sign up today.
Now, here's the starting lineup.
Starting 32nd is Morgan Baird. Chandler Smith will start 31st. Norm Benning is the 30th starter. Spencer Boyd, he'll start 29th. Nathan Bird goes 28th. Tony Breidinger is the 27th starter. Ross Chastain qualified 26th. Frankie Muniz 25th. Corey LaJoie starts 24th. Tanner Gray 23rd, Matt Mills 22nd, and Josh Rayum 21st.
Gio Ruggiero will roll off in 20th today with Lawless Allen starting in 19th. Lane Riggs is the 18th starter. Stuart Friesen will start 17th. Caden Honeycutt will roll off today in 16th. Dawson Sutton will roll off in 15th. 14th starter is Grant Enfinger. 13th will be Rajah Caruth. Andres Perez will start in 12th with Daniel Hemrick rolling off in 11th.
Tyler Ankrum qualified 10th. Ben Rhodes will start in the number 9 spot. Ben Rhodes, however, had a crash in practice yesterday. We'll talk more about that here in a moment. Connor Mozak will start 8th. Corey Heim will go from 7th. Ty Majeski is the 6th starter. Jack Wood starts 5th. Jake Garcia qualified 4th. Matt Crafton will start 3rd. Carson Hocevar starts 2nd. And winning his first career pole, Luke Fendhouse on the pole.
Field is easing off of the pit road and gliding up into the banking here at Michigan International Speedway as they start their first of several pace and parade laps. That affords us the opportunity to take you around the Michigan International Speedway, bring in 2 more voices who will cover the action in the corners. We talk about how Michigan is a capital letter D. The boat out portion of that D is the front stretch. When those drivers cross the start-finish line, hammer down, sails in the wind, and they'll ease off into turn number 1 and 2 with speed on display in front of Dave Moody of Barry, Vermont.
Thank you, Mike Bagley. Good afternoon once again, everybody. Speed to burn at the entrance of turn 1 here at Michigan International Speedway. They will be carrying the mail, and on entry into the 18-degree banking, they'll have choices to make. This track in the turns is wide enough to run 5, maybe even 6 wide. I don't think we'll see any of that here this weekend, or certainly today, but 2 and 3 wide is definitely workable. Place to be early appears to be the bottom of the racetrack. About a groove up off the yellow line. A second groove we expect to develop as the afternoon rolls on. Whether anybody will actually be brave enough to get up there and rip the fence remains to be seen. 18 degrees of banking falls away to just 5 on the back straightaway. We'll cover all the action from high atop the Henry Ford Health billboard at the exit of Turn 2 here at MIS. Now let's go to the other end of the property and Tim Catalfamo.
Thank you very much, Dave Mooney. Good afternoon, everyone. Here in turns 3 and 4, as Dave mentioned, that back straightaway is long and it is wide, and that is where you're going to see a lot of drafting today. Also on the front straightaway as well for all these Truck Series drivers. The trucks punch such a big hole in the air, and that is how you're going to be able to make passes or set someone up for a pass before you get to turn 3. Banking is the same on this end of the speedway as well. It's 18 degrees, and as Dave mentioned, it is awfully wide. You have your pick of the litter, so to speak, as far as where you want to put your race truck, but the speeds that you are carrying, the problem is going to be the smallest little slip up that you make on this end of the racetrack could be disastrous. So I'll keep my eyes on it this afternoon in turns 3 and 4 on top of a billboard.
Time now for a final thought from the pit lane as we go down there right now. Steve Post is at the exit of pit road.
Frankie Muniz wraps up here in Michigan. He jumps on a plane, flies to France for the inaugural Mustang Challenge Le Mans Invitational. And he has got a gold star list of co-drivers, including 6-time Olympic gold medal cyclist Sir Chris Hoy, Tanner Faust, a 3-time rallycross champion. Chelsea DeFona is a 2023 Formula Drift USA champion, and the CEO and president of the Ford Motor Company, Jim Farley. They have 2 races, one on Friday and one on Saturday, before the running of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. He starts today here in position number 25. Chris Wilner?
Well, another Ford team with a point of pride today is Thor Sport. How about this? All 4 trucks starting in the top 10. Matt Crafton, his best start in 3 years. This is a pseudo home race for Thor Sport. Just about 2 hours away in Sandusky, Ohio is the team's race shop. They've got a lot of folks here on property today looking to right the ship for a lot of their drivers, including Matt Crafton, who lost 53 points last week at Nashville. He's looking for a rebound, trying to get back into the playoffs after missing last year. Talked to his crew chief, Josh Hankish. They feel like this is their opportunity today to begin to right the ship with 6 races to go to get their veteran driver and former champion back in the postseason. We'll see what he can do starting 3rd.
Right now the field is working their way down the pit road to set their tachometers. The pit road speed is 55 miles an hour. The pace truck will run a speed of 65 out onto the racetrack. And Alex, this is a very important thing. We hear so many speeding penalties pop up. They give the teams the opportunity, because there are no speedometers in the trucks, they're tachometers, to make sure the lights are set right, the tachometer reading is correct, so you don't have those pit road speeding penalties that happen to pop up time from time in the race.
Todd, it's got to be a challenge. Even though you're running high speeds and in these trucks in a tight draft around this track, when it's time to come to pit lane, just to kind of recalibrate your vision as a driver, let alone get your mindset to try to get this truck woe down to 55 miles an hour.
Yeah, definitely a challenge to get down to 55 miles an hour. And then really driving down pit road, 80% of your focus is on your tachometer. You're using peripheral vision to what's going on ahead of you and trying to make sure that those pieces are right. The teams get a chance to see all of the speeds and all the segments here when they do this before they take the green flag. That way they know if they're being a little too aggressive with their lights. Maybe they can tell them they need to back up one light, which might be a little less RPM, and back them into a position where they can be safe for the race.
I'm looking at pit road, and obviously if you're a crew chief and a driver, you want the number 1 pit stall, right, to get the best launch.
Yes, here of every place.
But are there any places on this pit lane that are more advantageous than others if you can't have pit stall number 1?
Pit stall 1, then pit stall 2. I mean, really, because pit road speed's so fast here, it's a bigger advantage to not have to accelerate all the way back up the pit road speed by the time you get to camera line. So pit stall 1's a huge advantage. Camera line's just out in front of you. And then pit stall 2, I feel like, is another one. They did move the camera farther out. It's at the yellow line now, which takes a little bit of that advantage away.
As the field comes by the start-finish line, chief starter for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Rich Keeter, gives us the 1 to go, and we'll go green flag racing next time by.
In case you missed it, yesterday the ARCA Menard Series ran the Henry Ford Health 200. Butterbean Queen got his 3rd win of 2025. And earlier this morning, the NASCAR Cup Series qualified for the Firekeepers Casino 400. And for the third Cup race in a row this year, Chase Briscoe and Joe Gibbs Racing will lead the field to the green flag. We'll have live coverage for you beginning tomorrow. NASCAR Live Race Day hits the air at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. But, Alex, it's all about the tough trucks of NASCAR making their return to the Irish Hills for the first time in 5 years.
And what a snapshot we have at the front of the field here to go racing. The pole winner is a youngster, Luke Fenhouse. Starting second is a Cup Series driver who is really becoming a household name in Carson Hocevar. Starting third is a former Truck Series champion, a veteran here of this series, in Matt Crafton. And then everybody else is doing the same thing those three are, just getting set to go, because everybody wants to park their truck in Victory Lane when it's all said and done.
Field is coming off the end of the back straightaway right now, steering their trucks back and forth, making sure all the debris is off the tires, trying to get as much heat as possible in, and they are creeping at that 65 miles an hour coming through turns 3 and 4. It's going to be a 125 lapper today for the tough trucks of NASCAR. Some strategy will come into play, but it's going to be a lot of horsepower on display. Drafting, big runs. We'll talk about 3 and 4 wide racing at some point over the course of this race today. Can't wait to get this one going.
Absolutely right. As the pace truck has the field in tow in turn number 4, Sunshine dances off the Lexan windshields, makes its way onto pit lane. Field now in control, 2 by 2, as we look for a start and to call it for the NASCAR Racing Network from Milford, Delaware. Here's Mike Bagley.
Fans are on their feet, waving their hats as the green flag flies in the Irish Hills. We're underway. Side by side, Carson Hocevar to the inside of Luke Fenhouse. They're already 2 and 3 wide mid-pack.
Fenhouse by half a truck length in that outside lane. He's going to crowd Hocevar. He'll clear him in turn 2. Luke Fenhouse to the lead. Battle for second. Jake Garcia follows him around the high line.
Jake Garcia moving to second on the back straightaway as Luke Fenhouse holds down the top spot. Now here's Garcia stepping to the left, going to the inside of Fenhouse in turn 3. They're 3 wide for the race lead. Connor Mosak moving hard on the outside lane.
Mosak started deeper in the field. He started 8th, and he's battling for the race lead here on lap number 1. What a start. To the inside, though, by half a truck length. Luke Fenhouse will lead this lap officially as they go to 1.
They are 3 wide again for the lead, and now on the inside, Carson Hocevar on the comeback trail. He buries it deep onto the yellow line. He'll bypass 2 trucks to take the lead.
Carson Hocevar now puts his Chevrolet Silverado out front. They are wheel-to-wheel behind him as they race their way to turn number 3. That's where you find Luke Fenhouse, the machine of Connor Mosak, and Tyler Ankrum. Those 3 trucks battle for second behind Hocevar, the leader.
Last time out of turn number 4, there's a problem for Rajah Caruth. He's all the way at the tail end of the field, and he's limping his way off the end of the back straightaway. Steve Post, what's the problem?
A right rear flat tire for Rajah Caruth. He's limping that truck around. Going to bring it down to the attention of the crew. Right rear flat for Rajah Caruth.
Tough break, but if you're going to have a problem, Todd Gordon, at least it's happening here in the opening laps.
Yeah, it gives you the race to recover. Have to see what's caused that, whether it's contact or what they've got going on. Something diagnosed here.
Leaders halfway up the back straightaway. Carson Hocevar at the controls.
Single file, Mike Bagley, among the top 7 trucks. The first side-by-side battle outside of the top 5 is between Ty Majeski and Grant Enfinger.
Back off turn number 4, Matt Crafton will give up another spot. He slips in the middle of the corner. As a matter of fact, he may lose a second. Ty Majeski goes by. He'll lose a third. Grant Enfinger will storm by. The problem's not over for Crafton.
He has not stopped the bleeding yet as they have formed a line to his left elbow. Surging by. Wow, Enfinger gets tight. He slides up the banking. Nearly took out Ty Majeski, but they'll all get away.
Majeski will get away. Now Enfinger has to deal with Matt Crafton and a couple of other trucks that are lining up behind him as they all full throttle race their way to turn number 3. Andres Perez Galara, part of this mix. Crafton and the Ben Rhodes truck.
The runs that these drivers get on the other is just absolutely amazing to watch, coming off the corners and racing their way down the straightaways. 6-truck breakaway up front at lap 3, led by Carson Hocevar.
All 6 of them are nose to tail, and Hocevar is not going to lead for much longer. Here comes Connor Mosak. He'll dive to the bottom between 1 and 2. He takes the lead. Hocevar back to second. Tyler Ankrum looking low.
Mosak has been flexing some muscle early on in this race. He holds the top spot, but not for much longer. Here comes Carson Hocevar ducking out of line, jumps to the inside on Mosak in turn 3, and slides right in front of him to take the lead back.
Solid move there as the front five continue to mix it up. Matt Crafton is not a part of this after starting third. He's backslid to ninth. Chris Wilner, what's the problem?
Oh, Matt Crafton just came over the radio and said, I am sideways loose. He's trying to get back to throttle. He's having to really burp it in the corner. So an ill-handling truck right off the get-go for Matt Crafton as he tries to stop the bleeding. But again, now back in traffic, only making the problem worse.
Norm Benning has just taken his truck to the garage. Rajah Caruth has come down pit road to get that tire buttoned up on that right rear. Right now, Rajah is all the way back. He has lost a lap. He is 31st on the leaderboard. However, he is on the track and at speed, albeit by himself. Here comes the field out of 4. Carson Hocevar still leading the way.
Just lost the lead in turn number 4. Another challenge and change. Connor Mosak gets the lead, but Hocevar is on the comeback.
Hocevar's not done yet. He's got the bottom of the racetrack. Connor Mosak up a groove on the high side compared to Hocevar. Carson will slide underneath, regain the lead. Corey Heim is up to third.
Corey Heim runs third. One spot behind Heim is the Luke Fenhouse truck. Then Tyler Ankrum make up the top 5 in the race right now as they run their way to turn number 3. Here is Carson Hocevar. One truck length in front of Connor Mosak. Battle for fourth is on behind them.
Tyler Ankrum changed lanes, pulls to the inside in a side-by-side battle there. Now that battle is going to be joined by Jake Garcia. Fenhouse, Ankrum, and Garcia racing 3 wide for position number 4.
Tyler Ankrum is the meat in the middle of that sandwich. They're thinking 4 wide momentarily, and thankfully think better of it. Ankrum will lose 1 spot as he gets passed by Fenhouse for 4.
And as all this is going on from about the 4th spot on back, the top 3 trucks have broken away. As a matter of fact, Corey Heim jumps out of line, ducks to the inside of Connor Mosak. That's the battle for second. Heim will take second away from Mosak and now set his sights on Hocevar.
Going to size him up off turn number 4 is Corey Heim, so give him the number 2 spot. Connor Mosak is third. 4th is Luke Fenhouse. Tyler Ankrum is 5th. From 6th on back, things tighten up where Majeski is.
Ty Majeski leads a 3-truck draft down into that corner. Right on his back bumper, Andres Perez de Lara. He's keeping him company. At his back door, Jake Garcia.
A little bit further behind these two, Matt Crafton about to lose another spot off of turn number 2. He gives way and allows the Grand Enfinger truck to pass him before they get to turn 3. Up front, here's Corey Heim looking outside for a moment on Carson Hocevar.
Had the run, but Hocevar slides up the racetrack to shut off the advance, but Heim's going to catch him coming off the corner and to the start-finish line. Crosshairs of Corey Heim on the back bumper of Carson Hocevar for the race lead at lap number 9.
No surprise that Corey Heim has moved forward almost immediately at the drop of the green flag. Now he is hounding the back bumper of Carson Hocevar for position number 1.
Corey Heim about a truck length behind the Hocevar truck, halfway down the back straightaway. Those 2 trucks have now pulled away from the machine of Connor Mosak. Here is Corey Heim into turn number 3. Lets his truck drift wide, wider than the Carson Hocevar machine, but there's nothing there.
Nope, not a bit, as Hocevar will maintain the top spot. Hocevar the leader, Heim second, Connor Mosak is the top 3. Biggest mover since the drop of the green flag 10 laps ago is Ross Chastain. He's up to the number 9 spot. He's gained 17 positions. What are they saying with Ross Chastain, Chris?
Well, everything's happy right now in the NIS Motorsports camp, but I talked to the team before the race. They qualified at the back of the field, both Ross Chastain, Caden Honeycutt, as well as Matt Mills, but they feel like they're going to be better in the race. Why? Because they put a lot more downforce than the rest of these Truck Series teams did in qualifying earlier this morning, a lot like what they did at Atlanta earlier this year when all of the NIS Motorsports trucks ended up finishing in the top 10. So it was a strategy play to qualify a little bit farther at the back, sacrifice that on the get-off speed, but then the trucks will come to life here in the race, and it's showing. Ross Chastain up to 9th, going to challenge for 8th here in a matter of moments.
Ross Chastain 3.5 seconds behind Carson Hocevar, who has his hands full with Corey Heim in this ongoing battle for the lead.
Hey, I hear you think podcasts are all about true crime, huh? Well, wise guy, the iHeartRadio app's got all kinds of podcasts. We got stuff you should know and stuff they don't want you to know. We got Bobby Bones, Big Boy, and Lou Later. We got SpongeBob Binge Pants and Exotic Erotic Story Time. We got Doughboys, Two Dudes in a Kitchen, Green Eggs and Dan. Hey, we got Elf Quest. We got podcasts for everything on the iHeartRadio app for free. If you don't download that, well, That's not just a true crime, my friend. That's criminal.
Hi, folks. Kyle Petty here. I want to tell you about a place that's dear to my heart, Victory Junction. It's a year-round camp that gives kids with complex medical and physical conditions life-changing experiences that are fun, empowering, and always free for families. Please help Victory Junction support kids who need it the most by making a donation today. Any amount will help kids attend camp for free. Help make a difference by visiting victoryjunction.org/donate.
No changes in the top 5 or top 10 while we were away. 13 laps have been completed. Carson Hocevar continues to lead over Corey Heim, Connor Mosack, Luke Fenhouse, and Tyler Ankrum. From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
At Eero, we believe it's time to get more Wi-Fi from your Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi that delivers on the promise of Wi-Fi 7 with lightning-fast speeds and minimal latency. Wi-Fi that lets us do all the things all at once and keeps us safe at the same time. It's time for Wi-Fi that's so reliable and easy, you don't even have to think about it. It's not too good to be true. It's just Eero. Learn more at Eero.com. That's EERO.com. Eero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
Start streaming now on Tubi.
Back at Michigan International Speedway, Carson Hocevar and Corey Heim trying to run away from everything, but they are being caught by the driver in third, which is Connor Mosack. But right now, the battle on the racetrack everyone's watching is for position number 5 between Tyler Ankrum and Ty Majeski.
Those two trucks race their way to turn number 3. Tyler Ankrum holds down that spot for now. Ty Majeski wants to take it away. Andres Perez-Galara not too far behind these two as well.
Ankrum driving all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack in turns 3 and 4 to try to put the kibosh on the attempted move by Ty Majeski. So far, he's successful as they head to 1.
Majeski content, at least for the moment, to just ride in the tire tracks of Tyler Ankrum. Same cannot be said for Corey Heim, who is absolutely blistering the back bumper of Carson Hocevar.
Yeah, Corey Heim continues each time by through turns 3 and 4 to look outside of Carson Hocevar. The problem is there's just nothing there. This time through, again, Corey Heim runs a lane higher than Hocevar but can't get around him.
Tell you what, Connor Mosack's doing a great job. This Hocevar-Heim battle really checked out there for a little bit, but Jake Garcia, make that Connor Mosack, has been very vigilant, just trying to stay in the slipstream, Dave, and make this a 3-way battle for the lead.
And it's working, Mike. He's back within 3, maybe 4 truck lengths, running bottom of the racetrack, right in the slipstream of Carson Hocevar, with Corey Heim just a half a groove higher.
Connor Mosack waiting for Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar to start mixing it up for the lead. If they do, and they end up getting side by side, it could be an opportunity for Mosack to get back in front. This time by their single file through turns 3 and 4.
Simply sizing one another up. There is some traffic that will come into play in the next handful of laps, Dave. These drivers at the front of the field are going to have to start thinking about which lanes to take.
Indeed, 3 or 4 lap trucks running a bit off the pace here this afternoon at Michigan that will go a lap down in the near future. The Spencer Boyd truck is the one in the most immediate danger as they exit to the back straightaway.
And some of these slower trucks might provide the opportunity Corey Heim and Connor Mosack need to take advantage and grab the lead away from Carson Hocevar. This time into turn number 3, Hocevar right on the back deck lid of Carson Hocevar.
Corey Heim working his way higher and higher on the banking, just trying to get some clean air on the nose of that Toyota Tundra. He'll get it. Now he's right on the back bumper of Carson Hocevar. But Dave, now it's DEFCON 1 for these lap trucks. They are directly in front of the race leader.
Spencer Boyd gives way to the bottom of the racetrack, lets the leaders surge by on the outside. Same cannot be said up top for the Tony Breidinger machine. She forced the leader to dive to the bottom and move underneath.
Everybody Everybody trying to split their way through lap traffic at around 190 miles an hour. Carson Hocevar and Corey Heim still remain a half a truck length apart. Mosak now clears the machine of Josh Rayum.
They're going to just tiptoe their way through here. These opening trucks to put a lap down here on lap number 20 that goes on the board. Gives us 10 laps to go here in the opening stage. So the lead trio goes to 1.
Here they come into turn number 1. Carson Hocevar with the advantage by 1, maybe 2 truck lengths over Corey Heim, who continues to try and find some clean air a little higher on the racetrack.
And that has been difficult the last several laps, not just because these leaders are in lap traffic, but because Hocevar likes to run the middle of the racetrack in turns 3 and 4 and is just high enough off the bottom to give Heim some problems. Now Heim ducks low in 3.
Heim doing a different approach this time through. Instead of going wide in the corner, he'll take a peek to the inside, but Carson Hocevar has blocked every advance so far. Leaders cross the line. 9 laps to go in the opening stage, and David's back to a 2-driver tussle for the point.
It is indeed. Connor Mosak, who had worked so hard to get caught up with that lead pair, has lost them while making his way through the lap traffic. He's a good 10, maybe 12 truck lengths back.
Mosak a distant 3rd. Running in the 4th spot right now is the Luke Fenhouse truck, and then Tyler Ankrum still are in the top 5. Everyone's single file through turns 3 and 4. Heim once again trying the top shelf on Carson Hocevar.
Connor Mosak had some trouble getting through some of those lap trucks off turn 4 last time by. That gave up some of this track position as the leaders nose to tailgate. Down to 8 laps to go in the opening stage.
Right. In contact, virtually nose to tailgate. Carson Hocevar feeling the heat from Corey Heim, but he just holds his line at the bottom of the track at the exit of 2.
Here comes Hocevar. Here comes Corey Heim off of turn number 2, flying down the 2,000-foot backstretch and setting up for turn number 3. Here's Heim looking to the inside for a moment on corner entry. Now he follows the tire tracks of Hocevar through 3 and 4.
7 laps to go in stage 1. Hocevar, Heim, the drivers we're speaking of right now in this ongoing race for the lead. A lap ago, changed for 5th. Ty Majeski wedged his way under Tyler Ankrum to take that spot. But everybody right now trying to get to the end of stage 1. We're obviously, Dave, seeing the have and the have-nots in the aerodynamic or the chassis department on these trucks.
And it's very interesting, Mike, because a handful of trucks that qualified extremely well have been absolutely out to lunch once the green flag flew in this thing. Others, you mentioned the Al Nice trucks that have not qualified well, have been surging forward under green flag conditions.
Matt Crafton, who started 3rd, has backslid to 18th, as Chris Wilner reported earlier. Truck is very loose. He's one of those drivers, Todd Gordon, that just can't wait to get to pit road to try to make some adjustments to their trucks.
And that's one of the things you'll see here at Michigan. With these trucks running wide open around here, where you are trim-wise, we had a few guys talk about it even in Cup stuff, is with cars that have, or trucks that have been kind of trimmed out, made slicker, take some downforce and drag out of them, make them fast by themselves. They don't run that well in dirty air. Likewise, you see people like the Nice trucks that they didn't have all that. They've still got the dirty, they've still got downforce, but drag. But now that shows they can stay wide open and make good passes.
Steve Post, what have the conversations been like between driver, spotter, and crew chiefs as we get to the end of this first stage?
As far as handling goes, I've heard a couple drivers, Lane Riggs, talk about his truck being a little tight. Connor Mosak reported his truck is a little snug. But most of the conversation is about where others are driving. He's 1 seam down. He's 1 lane lower. He's entering higher. He's entering lower. And they're looking at those lap times. So there's a lot of discussion between spotters and drivers about where's the fast way around with some of the other trucks respectively.
A lot of fast ways around at the front of the field. You have to wonder with Corey Heim, who has been latched, Mike, on the tailgate of race leader Carson Hocevar. Is he just simply biding his time, saving a little fuel for perhaps a less time on pit lane pit stop?
They've been basically locked at the hip here for about the last 20 laps or so. Corey Heim will dip out of line and get a little clean air on the nose, take a look to the inside. He just did that at the start-finish line in this ongoing 2-truck breakaway.
Corey Heim has traditionally not been much of a time bider. If he's got truck enough to go to the lead, he's going to do it, and he's going to do it now. He's keeping Hocevar company, but Timmy hasn't been able to make a move.
He has not. Carson Hocevar has been able to hold the top spot for several laps now, and Hocevar in turns 3 and 4 is running that second lane in the middle, whereas Heim is in the third lane getting up against the outside wall.
I really wonder if this isn't Carson Hocevar playing defense, but Corey Heim kind of setting up, figuring out where he wants to know, knowing that once you make the pass, you kind of become vulnerable to it. I'm curious to see if Corey Heim waits to the last lap and goes and steals a stage win out of this.
It's very possible. He's done it in the past. He's won several stages this year. But right now, Tim, he is content to ride in the baffles of the race leader.
Here they come down the back straightaway, racing their way to turn number 3. Still separated by a half a truck length. We're talking about Carson Hocevar and Corey Heim, who continue to duel for the lead. This time through, they still remain locked together, nose to tail, off 4.
They come to the line. We'll have 2 laps to go here in the opening stage of today's 250-mile race. Hocevar the leader in his bright blue Chevrolet. Right behind him, the red, white, and black Toyota of Corey Heim.
They have shrugged off the advances of Connor Mosak, who now has fallen back a good 18 to 20 truck lengths. It's a two-man dance for the lead, Hocevar and Heim.
And for the moment, there is clear racetrack in front of these 2 drivers, so lap traffic should not play a factor in who's going to get this first stage win. This time in the 3, Heim almost pushing Carson Hocevar into the corner. Now he again looks wide out of turn 4.
Here they come now to the main straightaway, and they will cross the start-finish line. 1 lap to go in stage 1 of the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250. Carson Hocevar in the rearview mirror sees Corey Heim right on his tailgate.
Hocevar has led the majority of the way, but not without a constant threat from Corey Heim. That threat will continue. He's only a truck length back as they race to the back straightaway.
Corey Heim looking for some running room right now on the last lap of stage 1. Pulls up right behind Carson Hocevar down the backstretch. Looks to the inside. Now gets alongside the left rear quarter panel of Hocevar. What a move by Corey Heim. He slides in front of Hocevar for the lead.
Corey Heim slides up. He'll grab the race lead and comes to the green and white checkered flag. Textbook opening stage for Corey Heim. He wins stage number 1. Top 10 will get paid championship points. Corey Heim gets the stage win. Carson Hocevar will be second. Connor Mosak comes across the line third. Ty Majeski 4th, and Caden Honeycutt 5th. Tyler Ankrum will be 6th. Luke Fenhouse 7th. Ross Chastain 8th. Lane Riggs 9th. And Andres Perez de Lara rounds out the stage in the 10th spot.
Inspiring story.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes back to the Daytona International Speedway. He will win the Pepsi 400.
I'm just a pilot, man. You know, I just want everybody to be happy. I want to do good, and hopefully all of my dad's fans enjoyed this. This for all them.
Motor Racing Network's NASCAR Live presents podcast Junior's Journey. Jeff Gordon, a colorful career, 50 years of MRN, the 1993 season, the road to royalty, and more. Search for NASCAR Live on your favorite podcast platform.
We are under the green flag. Listen up, NASCAR fans. Now's the time to turn your love of racing into big-time prizes. Because NASCAR Fantasy Live is your fast lane to bragging rights.
Furious racing here.
Pick 5 drivers each week of the season. Then complete additional challenges to stack points. All for your shot at the grand prize. So let's get this party started. For official rules and to learn more, visit NASCAR.com/fantasy and sign up today.
From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Every time the siren sounds or lights flash, someone's life is on the line. At Whelen Engineering, we know first responders carry that weight every day. That's why for over 70 years, we've led the emergency warning industry, designing and manufacturing the lights, sirens, and safety systems they trust right here in America. Because when the mission is critical, there's no room for second best. Whelen Engineering, trusted to protect first responders.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-212-2828. 800-212-2828. That's 800-212-2828.
Back at Michigan International Speedway, pit road remains closed for the moment. Corey Heim, Todd Gordon with a textbook way to end stage number 1.
And you watch this, and I just, this is just developing the mental skills of how to do this. Corey Heim stayed in line. If he starts racing Carson Hocevar every lap, he's going to slow the two of them down and bring everybody behind them into the fold of winning the stage. So to stay in line, kind of keep drafting with Coach Carson Hocevar, keep pushing him out to the point where it's just down to the two of them, knowing he had a strong enough truck to use the draft. I think he mentally put that together, that into turn 3. I take it on the last lap. That's a textbook, very mature move on Corey Heim's part.
I appreciate the restraint that Corey Heim showed. We are used to, Dave said this a moment ago, we're used to him, if he's got a fast truck, he's going to pass you, and then he's going to leave you and blow you away. He right there just took his time and just made the pass when it mattered the most, and that's to pick up that point and also win stage 1.
Yeah, put himself in a great position here and to control the race coming forward from here.
Pit road will remain closed this time by as the field stays behind the pace truck. Pit stops will be coming up soon, and I anticipate just about everybody will be making their way down there to make some sort of an adjustment to their trucks.
Here's a look at who's getting it done out on the racetrack right now, presented by Craftsman. Your yard isn't overgrown, it's ripe with potential. Conquer whatever it throws at you with the Craftsman V20 brushless RP outdoor lineup. More runtime, better performance, and fewer frustrations. See craftsman.com for details.
There's a handful of drivers, I think, in this opening 30-lap stage, Mike, that was getting it done, let alone Heim and Hocevar at the front. But what about Caden Honeycutt? Finished the stage 5th. He was entertaining, diving inside, outside. He was able to pass trucks seemingly at will. Ross Chastain, we highlighted him in the opening stage, gaining 18 spots. But Chandler Smith is another one that really caught my eye. Yes, he finished the stage 12th, but you might not think too much about that. Chandler Smith started last in this race. And if you go back to North Wilkesboro Speedway, he started last there and went on to win that race.
Had a tire challenge earlier today, and that put him at the back of the pack, and that truck has a lot of speed. Front Row Motorsports has had a lot of speed in their trucks here in 2025. Of course, we've seen a lot of drivers that have displayed speed, but Front Row really flexing muscle here in the Irish Hills. Plus 19 for Chandler Smith so far, and we'll see what happens on this set of pit stops. Perhaps maybe he's an adjustment away from blasting through the field, but it has been fun watching drivers mid-pack work around some lap traffic and take advantage of perhaps maybe some faltering chassis on some other drivers that they've been able to catch and ultimately negotiate around.
And it looks like Morgan Baird will be the beneficiary of the free pass. Raja Karuth just missed being in position after the cut tire early in the run and making the unscheduled pit stop. Raja will stay one lap down. Pit lane is open. Chris Wilner.
Well, the call from John Leonard for Chandler Smith, who you guys noted was marching his way through the field. No changes, just 4 Goodyear tires and packet full of Sunoco fuel. For Caden Honeycutt, another big mover through the stage number 1 who finished 5th. He felt like he was a little bit tight but could manage. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment, remove a little bit of tape. Same thing with Ross Chastain, his teammate, also fighting a tight condition. Luke Fenhouse asking for a water bottle and an air pressure adjustment. 4 tires and Sunoco fuel on this end of pit road. Steve Post.
Connor Mosak reported a little tight. Going to be a minor adjustment there. When we look at the front duo, both a little bit loose. Corey Heim, no adjustments on his truck. Carson Hocevar, minor adjustment on his automobile. Those 3 go right out first, second, and third. Also getting pit stops, Lane Riggs to loosen up his truck. Pit stops here, lap number 34, end of stage number 1.
Corey Heim is the first off of pit lane, big time. Carson Hocevar, Connor Mosak, Ty Majeski, and also Tyler Ankrum, the Fast 5 off the pit lane. 34 laps are complete.
Start your engines with DQS Solutions and Staffing, proud sponsor of Michigan International Speedway. We deliver end-to-end workforce solutions in staffing, security, warehousing, transportation, and beyond. Whether you're scaling your operations or finding your next opportunity, we're driven to accelerate your business and your future. Learn more today at dqstaff.com.
Relive the thrills of over 50 years of NASCAR racing with the Motor Racing Network's Classic Race.
36th Annual Southern 500. They come down to the start-finish line. Bill Elliott and David Pearson get down.
We dig into the MRN audio vault for unforgettable races and moments.
Dale Jarrett's got the lead. Earnhardt's not going to get him. Dale Jarrett is going to win the Daytona 500.
Available on MRN.com and podcast platforms.
Alan Kowicki out of turn number 4, the new Winston Cup champion. He does it across the line.
MRN Classic Races.
Trucks a lap or more down are on the pit lane right now. Lead lap trucks have already pitted. We should be back under the green flag in a couple of more laps. From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Hello?
Hey, it's your man Tank. Watching you hold back tears swallowing that celery stick. It's a hard sight to see, Tim.
I'm almost done. Just let me get this down.
Stop it, man. Seriously. We don't have to do this to us.
You're right. I hate veggies so much. How can I be more like you?
Hey, buddy, I am you. Just full of meat. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, official meat snack of NASCAR. Feed your wild side.
Way.com. NASCAR fans, get ready to feel the rush. The official NASCAR Tracks app is your ultimate race day companion. From managing your event tickets to navigating with wayfinding maps, event schedules, and facility info, it's got everything you need to make your experience unforgettable.
Ready, green flag, green
Bring
flag.
your headphones and dive into the action like never before with live scanner access.
Got a race to win, my man.
Listen in on driver and team communications at select NASCAR Tracks. Download NASCAR Tracks now in the Apple App Store or Google Play.
Back at Michigan International Speedway, working caution flag number 1 of the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250. Corey Heim, first off pit road and still number 1 on the leaderboard. Carson Hocevar, Connor Mosak, Ty Majeski, Tyler Ankrum, the top 5. Cade Honeycutt will restart in 6th. With the Ruggiero truck in 7th, Ross Chastain in 8th. You've also got Andres Perez in 9th, and Tanner Gray will restart in position number 10.
As the field comes by the line, we've just gotten the 1 to go signal. Boy, not a whole lot of different choices at the front of the field. Looks like the front 5 or 6 trucks elected to go to the outside lane, and only one truck decided to go down to the bottom of the track. That was one of those weird scenarios we haven't seen, quite frankly, since we've had the choose rule, Mike, where that many trucks stayed single file in the outside lane. It almost looked like they didn't get the 1 to go signal.
Well, yeah, because it looked like we're still under the caution flag, but with the way you mention it, obviously the outside lane is the preferred lane. This is going to make this restart very interesting as they're doubling up now out of turn number 2. The green flag will come back out at lap 38. That'll give us 37 laps complete. Of course, this stage is going to be a quick one, going to be a little over 20 laps, so we'll see what happens at the end of stage 2 as we continue on this very beautiful afternoon of racing here in the Irish Hills of Michigan.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful day to go racing here with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series as we get set to go. Corey Heim, Carson Hocevar, Connor Mosak, Ty Majeski, and Tyler Ankrum were being scored the top 5 after the pit stops. And after this caution, stage 2 was only 30 laps in length. When we come around to take the green flag, there will only be 23 laps remaining in the stage. Todd, it's worth noting, Rajah Caruth did not pit.
Yeah, and I was reading through the comments and the pieces. Looks like they feel like they can go about 12 laps. If they get a caution, puts them back. If they have to pit, they're back 1 lap down where they were. So we'll see where this plays out.
Pace truck is on pit road. Here we come now. Field is doubled up for the restart. Corey Heim will restart on the outside of row number 1. Starting to his left elbow will be Connor Mosak. Right now, Corey Heim getting the business now on the back bumper from Carson Hocevar. Hocevar shoving him in the outside lane, trying to give him the heave-ho to turn 1.
Mosak is getting the same kind of help from Caden Honeycutt, who is the big beneficiary on the choose. He gained 3 spots from 6th place to the inside of row number 2.
Everybody's still double wide, about 10 rows deep, racing their way up the backstretch. It is Corey Heim who's able to duck out in the lead. Carson Hocevar will now go to 2nd, and Ty Majeski looking to take 3rd away from Connor Mosak. They're wheel to wheel.
going to thunder their way up off of turn number 4. Come back down to the line with Corey Heim at the front of the field in the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250 here at Michigan. Heim the leader. The draft kicks in as they battle for the top spot in turn 1.
Now Carson Hocevar sucks right up onto his back bumper, a reversal of the roles they played in stage number 1. Heim with the lead, Hocevar second, and here comes Ty Majeski to third.
Ty Majeski feeling some heat now from Connor Mosak, who pulls at a line and gets alongside of the Majeski truck. Ford Chevy battle for the third spot up front. Here's Carson Hocevar jumping to the bottom, trying to get around Corey Heim for the lead.
Carson Hocevar trying to open up the inside lane, coming out of 4, but he cannot get it done. Corey Heim will lead this lap. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the NASCAR Racing Network. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is racing today at the Michigan International Speedway, and the NASCAR Racing Network is here with live flag-to-flag coverage of the tough trucks doing battle at MIS. Mike Bagley here alongside Alex Hayden and Todd Gordon. Dave Moody and Tim Catalfamo are in the corners. We've got pit and garage coverage today from Steve Post and Chris Wilner. As the leaders come out of the corner and cross the start-finish line, 40 of the 125 laps are complete. Carson Hocevar has led the most laps so far in 27. Corey Heim has just led his 11th. Heim is leading. Hocevar right now is second, with Ty Majeski, Connor Mosak, and Caden Honeycutt rounding out the top 5.
Racing here in the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250, powered by Precision Vehicle Logistics. And we want to welcome to the broadcast Jason Wilson, Vice President of Precision Vehicle Logistics. How you doing today?
Yeah, doing well. I first want to start off by saying thank you for having me up here, you guys. Listened to you my whole life, and so it's an honor to be here, so thank you.
We're glad to have you, my friend.
Absolutely right. So for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about what is DQS Solutions and Staffing and Precision Vehicle Logistics.
Yeah, so Precision, I'll start there. I'll start with Precision. We're finished vehicle logistics provider for the OEMs, so Ford and General Motors are our biggest customer. They build brand new cars, they kick them out the back door, and they hand them to us. And we make sure they get to the dealer. We warehouse them, we store them, we park them, we move them, we put them on trains, we hand off to trucks, and they deliver to dealers. So within that, DQS is our biggest supplier. From a staffing perspective, from a security perspective, they bring a lot of different solutions to the table in the vehicle manufacturing world. On the front end, from parts warehousing and stuff like that. And so they are exactly as explained. DQS Solutions, if you need something, they'll figure it out.
You and I were chatting just a moment ago when you came up here, and you were eagerly watching Caden Honeycutt, who is driving the truck that has your logos emblazoned on it right now, having a good run. He's in the number 6 spot. Why is it important to have that partnership with NASCAR Motorsports?
Yeah, so we created this partnership a couple years ago. Al, being the great guy that he is, we like the culture that's running around their shop, and so we decided to jump on board with those guys. They've been a good partner ever since. Drug in a couple other partners like DQS and whatnot from a sponsorship perspective, and internally we just found a way to work together.
So as Rajah Caruth makes a pit stop after taking the wave around, he did not pit with everybody else under the caution flag just a moment. This event, super meaningful, obviously, to the sport of NASCAR, and the Craftsman Truck Series returning back here at the Michigan International Speedway for the first time in years. With the local roots and the growing presence, what is the importance of your brand being a part of this race and this racetrack?
Yeah, for the most part, it's the partnerships that we have with our customers, right? So Monday through Friday, our customers are Ford and General Motors. This is where they hang out at the weekend. It behooves us to be here as well, meet all the different people that are in this garage and interacting with our customers and try to create synergies.
Well, Jason, you're now part of the Motor Racing Network broadcast team, so welcome to the MRN team.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to say hi to Moody if he's here out there. I like Moody.
He's here. He's here.
He's out in turns 1 and 2. That's Jason Wilson, Vice President, Precision Vehicle Logistics.
On the racetrack, Carson Hocevar got around Corey Heim a moment ago to reclaim the lead. Right now it's Hocevar, Heim, Majeski, the top 3, Connor Mosak 4th, And also Gio Ruggiero right now in 5th. Caden Honeycutt is 6th, with Tyler Ankrum 7th. Chandler Smith is 8th. Ross Chastain 9th. Tanner Gray rounding out the top 10. We've got 14 laps to go in Stage 2.
Here's what you missed last week on Toyota Gazoo Racing. Bubba was totally... as he... around the pack, managing to... across the finish line to claim the... in victory lane. Now you're up to speed. You in? Follow the action at tgrna.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, LLC.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
At Eero, we believe it's time to get more Wi-Fi from your Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi that delivers on the promise of Wi-Fi 7 with lightning-fast speeds and minimal latency. Wi-Fi that lets us do all the things all at once and keeps us safe at the same time. It's time for Wi-Fi that's so reliable and easy, you don't even have to think about it. It's not too good to be true. It's just Eero. Learn more at Eero.com. That's EERO.com. Eero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
Every hero's story has a humble beginning. Every legend had to earn their stripes. Every superstar had a dream.
It's been a fairy tale season.
Every home track is the start of something special.
That's just good old short track racing.
Oh, a little retaliation. Holy cow! Learn more about NASCAR regional tracks near you at nascar.com/regional.
$11 laps to go here in the second stage of today's race. Carson Hocevar is up front. Mike, we've had ourselves a highly entertaining race so far.
So in Stage 1, it was all about Carson Hocevar and Corey Hyman. They had really pulled out from the balance of the field. Right now, Ty Majeski is catching him, and we've got a challenge for the lead.
They make their way up off turn number 4. Corey Heim will go to the inside and take the race lead away. Heim will come down to the line. This will be lead change officially, number 6 at the start-finish line. But, Dave, far more lead changes around this racetrack throughout every lap.
A lot more, no question about that. Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar have pretty much ping-ponged the lead back and forth over the course of this race. But Ty Majeski's not far away. Connor Mosack also in the hunt. And closing in is Caden Honeycutt.
I think Ty Majeski, out of these top 5 trucks, is the quickest amongst them. The problem is he just hasn't had the momentum to make the pass on Carson Hocevar, and now the new leader, Corey Heim.
Corey Heim, Carson Hocevar 1 and 2. Ty Majeski staying with him. They've not been able to pull away. Connor Mosack's in range as well. And also joining in that fray, Caden Honeycutt and Gio Ruggiero. Dave, that's quite a 6-driver free-for-all right now, led by the most successful driver of the season.
That would be Corey Heim by a landslide. Everybody for the moment running in single file. Connor Mosack, the 4th-place machine, running about a groove up. That'll open the door for Honeycutt.
Honeycutt is there, so is Gio Ruggiero. As a matter of fact, they are side by side for the 4th spot. Caden Honeycutt to the inside of Connor Mosack in turn 3. Honeycutt will take the spot away. Mosack now has to deal with Ruggiero.
Ruggiero takes a peek to the inside. Both of those drivers look forward and see a side-by-side battle for the 2nd spot now. Ty Majeski is on the move. He looks to the inside of Carson Hocevar.
Ty Majeski has been very methodical, very calm so far. He's up to the number 3 spot, and he wants more. Glued to the yellow line at the bottom of the banking. He surges to the bottom. He'll take 2nd from Hocevar.
Majeski wants to go. He now completes that pass on Hocevar, moves to the runner-up spot, and trails the leader, Corey Heim, by by a truck length. Into the corner. Here's Ty Majeski pulling up right to the back bumper of Corey Heim.
So to give you a little behind the scenes of why Carson Hocevar lost the lead, he had a piece of debris on the nose of the truck a couple of laps ago. And matter of fact, coming off the end of the back straightaway, the NASCAR TV screens here at the track showed Carson stuck his finger out the driver's side window and was pointing, motioning Heim to take the lead. When that happened, Hocevar pulled in behind Corey Heim to get the debris off, which happened. However, that left him vulnerable for losing more time on the racetrack and ultimately losing position number 2.
Yeah, and that's just what you do, because a piece of debris, Todd, when it covers the grill, restricts the airflow, can cause engine problems.
Yeah, definitely. That's how you see these teams put tape on the grill to kind of regulate the temperature of the engine. The more restricted it is, the better, less drag it is. But he just pointed him down there, got up there. There's a low pressure zone behind it, basically turbulent air behind the truck. Slide up into that, and it pulls that debris back off the grill.
Carson Hocevar to the bottom, trying to regain lost ground, Dave.
It looked like he might lose touch for a moment with that lead pair, but he's rallied the troop. He's right back up, closing in on Hocevar.
Carson Hocevar is there. Ty Majeski, all of them trying to challenge Corey Heim for the top spot. Hocevar moves to second around Ty Majeski. Now he's going back after Corey Heim, the race leader.
Heim keeps his truck in the middle of the track. If they want to pass him, pick a lane, bottom or top side. As a matter of fact, looks like the front about 10 trucks are starting to slinky their way somewhat back together. Further back, that last truck in line in the 8th spot is Chandler Smith as they work their way to turn 1.
Yeah, they all are running probably a maximum of 5 to 6 truck lengths apart. Carson Hocevar trying to reel in Corey Heim again for the lead.
It's 1 truck length separating Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar. 3 truck lengths behind those two is the Ty Majeski truck. 4th right now on the racetrack, that's Caden Honeycutt. Connor Mosack is 5th. Ross Chastain, Gio Ruggiero, and Tanner Gray, the top 8.
Caden Honeycutt just driving forward, got himself up to 4th. Looks like he's running the top 3 down. That truck looks like it's really doing a great job. Chris Wilner?
Todd, he just came over the radio 2 laps ago and said, I started off really tight in stage number 2, but it's coming to me, and I feel like I've got the best truck. So they're trying to manage this stint here to the end. Don't want them to force the issue, but certainly feels like it's showing on the racetrack, too, just how fast that JBMotorsports Chevrolet is. Also trying to save some fuel there in that lead pack of cars as well.
Caden Honeycutt joined us a couple of weeks ago on NASCAR Live Wide Open. Got a chance to know that young man. He's quite a talented race car driver, and with his association with JBMotorsports, it's perfect for him. He's helped elevate their program, and their program has also helped elevate his name and his getting to know you, period, in this sport.
He's a likable young man, 21 years of age, from Willow Park, Texas, making his 47th career NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series start. Best finish he's ever been able to muster has been a 3rd place run, but Caden Honeycutt with Al Neese and that team behind him, that's a formidable combination, and right now Caden Honeycutt is having himself a nice afternoon.
Of course, his JBMotorsports teammate in Ross Chastain today is running in 6th. So far, so good for JBMotorsports. Matter of fact, Ross testing the waters, trying to get around Connor Mosack coming off the corner. Almost got twisted up and tangled up coming off the corner, and that's going to cost Ross some time on the racetrack. Matter of fact, Gio Ruggiero is going to take a peek to the inside with less than 2 laps to go in this stage.
He'll dive down to the inside. That's the battle for the number 6 position. Challenge on for the lead. Carson Hocevar tried to do to Corey Heim what Heim did to him on the final lap of the last stage.
Carson Hocevar had a look to the inside for a moment off of turn number 2, but now tucks in line and follows Corey Heim back to turn 3. Still running a half a truck length apart. Hocevar looking low at a 4.
Carson Hocevar will have to settle in line and ride the tire tracks of the race leader Corey Heim. They'll flash by the start-finish line. We will begin the final lap of stage number 2. The lead duo heads to Dave Moody.
Final time into turn number 1, and Hocevar is right there. He's going to look topside. He'll dive now down low after throwing the feint. Hocevar looking to put a wheel inside, but Corey Heim too strong off the exit of turn 2.
Final shot for Carson Hocevar here in stage number 2. We'll see if he can try to slingshot past Corey Heim. Heim, who is trying to break the draft going down the backstretch. Into turn 3, Heim leads by a truck length over Carson Hocevar as they head back to the main straightaway.
Here comes Corey Heim off the corner. Carson Hocevar would love to lead this stage and win this stage, but that's just not going to happen. Green and white checkered flag is waving at the start-finish line. Corey Heim wins stage 2. It's his 11th of the season, and while it may not be Heim time, you might want to get those time devices torqued up, because Corey Heim is putting on a display here today, flexing muscle and winning yet another stage in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Kyle Larson brings his Chevy 4 tires Sunoco Racing Fuel.
From fueling NASCAR champions on the track for over 20 years to innovating 94 octane, the highest octane on the market, performance is what Sunoco does. All Sunoco fuel at the pump meets the same top-tier standards as the fuel used in NASCAR.
Here for Ryan Blaney, 4 tires with Sunoco fuel.
From the track to your tank, you can trust Sunoco to help your vehicle perform at its peak.
Get ready to rev your engines, NASCAR fans. The thrill, the speed, the action. You can now experience it all for free on the NASCAR channel on Tubi. Feel the adrenaline with a library of unforgettable races from Daytona to Talladega. It's a front row seat to NASCAR history. Best of all, it's completely free. Stream anytime, anywhere on your favorite fast platform. No fees, no strings, just NASCAR. Find the NASCAR channel on your streaming device and start watching today.
Corey Heim continues to lead at the end of stage 2 with Carson Hocevar, Ty Majeski, Caden Honeycutt, Connor Mosak, and Ross Chastain actually running out the top 6 on the leaderboard. Pit road will be open in a moment, and we'll see what pit road will bring to these drivers and teams as they try to get their trucks all ready to go for the final run to the checkers. From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
Folks, Kyle Petty here. I want to tell you about a place that's dear to my heart, Victory Junction. It's a year-round camp that gives kids with complex medical and physical conditions life-changing experiences that are fun, empowering, and always free for families. Please help Victory Junction support kids who need it the most by making a donation today. Any amount will help kids attend camp for free. Help make a difference by visiting victoryjunction.org/donate.
Caution flag number 2 flying over the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250. Corey Heim has won both stages. No cautions for any incidents on the racetrack. And once we complete these pit stops, Alex, should probably have around 59 or so laps to go. And everyone's sights are set on the back bumper of that Safe Light Toyota Tundra.
And Todd doing the math and the calculations with the fuel cell and the fuel, 59 or so laps, not a way they can go.
No chance at all. You're gonna have to stop somewhere in there, and we'll see how that strategy plays out. We've been clean and green to this point. We'll see if we get that to the end and where the guys decide to cycle that forward, as we talked about earlier. Maybe going a little bit longer so that you're better in the green-white checkered situation if we go to overtime.
Pit road is still closed. Be one more lap before the pit road is open and allow everybody to come down for service. Of course, we remind you that tomorrow the NASCAR Cup Series will be racing the Firekeepers Casino 400 Motor Racing Network and NASCAR Live Race Day on the air at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, next weekend, the trucks will take the weekend off, but we are off to Mexico City with the NASCAR Mexico Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and the NASCAR Cup Series. Our coverage will begin Friday with Cup practice, and we'll have one of the Mexico Series races, the Ricardo Rodriguez 60. On Saturday, you'll have Cup qualifying. You'll have another Mexico Series race. That's the Pedro Rodriguez 60, the Chilango 150 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series 1 1 week from today as well. And 1 week from tomorrow, the first ever trip for the NASCAR Cup Series to Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City. The Viva Mexico 250 will have live coverage for you all weekend long as we and the entire sport head south of the border as we work towards the middle reaches of the month of June.
Look forward to it. It's been one of those races since it was announced that a lot of folks have circled on the calendar as a great opportunity to come out and see NASCAR racing in a different light, if you will, and expose it to a lot of folks who have never had the opportunity to go watch a NASCAR Cup Series race. It's going to be a great weekend. It's going to be a great experience, and I'm looking forward to calling 2 more NASCAR Mexico Series races, which is a thriving series NASCAR has in the country of Mexico, which has produced some talented drivers.
It's going to be fun to go back. If you remember, we were back there years ago. Last time to Mexico City was with the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Our last race there was in 2008, and it was always fun. The fans are an energetic lot down there, and that road course puts on tremendous racing, and we can't wait to take the Motor Racing Network microphones south of the border and bring you all of the coverage. Right now, the field is coming out of turn number 4. Pit road is open, and Corey Heim brings them all down the pit lane. Pit stops will happen at lap 63. We start first with Chris Wilner.
Chandler Smith was not happy on the last adjustment, said the stagger didn't help me. I need front turn, so they're going to make a chassis adjustment on his Ford F-150. 4 tires in Sunoco fuel. Ross Chastain, engine temp running a little hot. They'll take a piece of tape off the front grille. Caden Honeycutt, truck really good, just a little bit tight at the end of the run. They'll make an air pressure adjustment. Down on the jack, 4 tires and fuel. Same with Gio Ruggiero. Steve Post.
Ty Majeski a little bit tight. They made a minor adjustment. 4 tires, Sunoco racing fuel. A little bit loose the condition for Corey Heim. Air pressure adjustment. Heim wins the race off from pit road. Also getting pit service, Carson Hocevar. A little concerned. You guys referenced that trash on the grill. He's afraid he might be down a few horsepower because the engine temperature did go way up on that. 4 tires, Sunoco racing fuel. Pit stops. Lap number 64 here at the end of stage number 2.
Corey Heim got off the pit lane first, followed by Carson Hocevar. Caden Honeycutt and his team come off the pit lane third. Ty Majeski fourth, and Tanner Gray gains 3 spots. Tanner Gray is now 5th.
There will always be more leaves, weeds, and yard debris. And when they show up, tackle yard cleanup with the Craftsman V20 Brushless RP Outdoor lineup. Delivering more runtime and better performance, the Craftsman V20 Brushless RP lineup of outdoor products will help you cut, trim, and blow through whatever your yard throws at you. Your grass, no problem. Overgrown hedges, not anymore. A neighbor who won't stop distracting you with weather talk? Well, you're on your own there. But for everything else, head to Craftsman.com. Craftsman. Build on. See Craftsman.com for details.
NASCAR history.
What I learned from Ken Squire, Barney Hall, and Ned Jarrett, I could never repay. Ken never told me what to say or what not to say. I learned very quickly that I was never going to be another Ken Squire. I don't think anybody could rise to that level.
Motor Racing Network's NASCAR Live presents podcasts. 50 years of MRN. Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career, the 1993 season, Junior's Journey, and more. Search for NASCAR Live on your favorite podcast platform.
From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Every time the siren sounds or lights flash, someone's life is on the line. At Wheelan Engineering, we know first responders carry that weight every day. That's why for over 70 years, we've led the emergency warning industry, designing and manufacturing the lights, sirens, and safety systems they trust right here in America. Because when the mission is critical, there's no room for second best. Wheelan Engineering, trusted to protect first responders.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-212-2828. 800-212-2828. That's 800-212-2828.
Voice of NASCAR.
Working caution for the second time in today's race. This one for the end of stage number 2. As a matter of fact, that was the first caution as well, stage number 1. Both stages were won by Corey Heim. The right team, the right job. DQS Solutions and Staffing is your go-to partner, driven to accelerate your business and your future. From staffing to security to transportation and beyond, visit dqstaff.com.
We mentioned early in the pre-race coverage of our broadcast today that this is the final race of a 6-week run for the Truck Series. They've raced at Texas, Kansas, North Wilkesboro, Charlotte, and Nashville. When this race ends today, they're going to take a weekend off while we head down to Mexico City. Then they come back and race at Pocono and Lime Rock, but then a 3-weekend off stretch. And then, Alex, it's on again, off again. They'll race IRP, take a weekend off. Watkins Glen, Richmond, weekend off. Darlington, weekend off, and becomes an intermittent burst into the playoffs and through the playoffs here in 2025.
You mentioned Lime Rock Park. That is a brand new venue for the Truck Series. As a matter of fact, here in 2025, 2 brand new tracks added to the Truck Series for the first time. Lime Rock Park Road Course there in Connecticut, and the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway, also on the Truck Series schedule as a new track for the first time for the trucks. Then we've had 4 tracks that have reappeared on the schedule, and one of them is here at Michigan. We already raced at Rockingham Speedway on a triumphant return there. The trucks will be back on the road course at Watkins Glen International coming up in August, and in September the trucks return to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, where they have not raced in 2,919 days.
Man, that's a long, long time. You know, of the ones that you mentioned, the one that I've got really special attention paid to is the Cookout Southern 500 race weekend at Darlington Raceway. Going to have a different look. We normally have the Xfinity Series on Saturday. Well, the Xfinity Series is going to be racing in Portland, back in the up in the Pacific Northwest. The trucks returning to Nashville after quite an absence there. So it's going to be the trucks and the Cup Series at Darlington. We always talk about the uniqueness of the schedules, the differences of the schedules, but also the new racetracks and the renewed tracks that we're going to. Can't wait to see what 2026 has in store as well.
Yeah, and Darlington Raceway is a tough racetrack for grizzly veterans of NASCAR racing. How much fun is it going to be to watch some of these young drivers go to Darlington Raceway and race for the first time and get an idea why it's called the track Too Tough to Tame.
I can't wait to watch these youngins navigate the Raceway Grill for the first time.
Oh, man, that's tough, yeah. That's one of the great eating spots on the entire tour in NASCAR racing.
Right now, the field is doubled up for the restart. They have chosen, when they come back to the line, it's going to be 57 laps to go. Corey Heim is the leader. Carson Hocevar, Caden Honeycutt, Ty Majeski, Tanner Gray now in the top 5 for the first time, with Connor Mosack, Chandler Smith, Ross Chastain, Daniel Hemrick, Gio Ruggiero rounding out the top 10.
If you're a Josh Rayum fan, and we all are, he has just come out of the garage area and back on the pit lane, going to top it off with Sunoco fuel. He'll rejoin the race and get back out there after some mechanical issues where he's behind the wall for 9 laps.
Only one truck in the garage. Norm Benning completed 3 laps, then parked his Chevrolet Silverado. Everybody else still on the racetrack. 28 trucks on the lead lap. 2 a lap down. Josh Rayum, as Alex mentioned, 9 laps in arrears as we get set to start the final stage in the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250.
57 laps to go here at Michigan. They hit the restart zone, and the green flag goes back in the air. Caden Honeycutt on the inside lane has got Tanner Gray shoving him all the way to turn 1. Top side is Corey Heim at that front.
Corey Heim trying to run with Honeycutt. He'll do that, maybe even put a bumper out. But they are side by side for the lead. Through turn 1, through the apex, all the way to turn 2. Nobody with the advantage as they hit the backstretch.
It still remains Honeycutt and Heim wheel to wheel for the top spot. Now halfway down the back straightaway, they get single file. Heim grabs the lead. Here's Carson Hocevar jumping to the inside of Corey Heim. They'll race side by side and give the advantage to Hocevar up the corner.
Hocevar is going to slide up under him coming off the turn. Here they come now. Hocevar reclaims the lead. Heim to second. You've also got Caden Honeycutt there, Ty Majeski, Connor Mosack. Here's Daniel Hemrick on the move behind them all the way to the bottom of the racetrack.
Haven't heard a lot from Hemrick this afternoon. It's been a rough start for him, but they've got a good car now, or a good truck now. They've done some tuning, and he's in the top 10.
Daniel Hemrick mixing it up with some of these drivers inside of the top 10. He completes a pass on a fellow Truck Series machine. machine coming off of turn number 2. That was the Connor Mosack truck. Next truck now in front on the hit list for Daniel Hemrick is Ross Chastain.
As Chastain tries to continue to move forward on the leaderboard, he's been mired back in the back half of the top 10, the better part of today's race. We'll see if he's got anything for the rest of the field with now 55 laps to go as they thunder to turn 1.
Corey Heim sneaks up and just shoves Carson Hocevar into turn number 1. Hocevar separates a bit midway through the corner. Heim rides in second. Honeycutt in third. Closing in fourth is Ty Majeski.
Ty Majeski makes up that last truck in this 4-truck breakaway at the front of the pack right now. Carson Hocevar getting all he wants from Corey Heim in the rearview mirror. They're a half a truck apart through 3. They remain that way out of 4.
4-truck breakaway up front as they race their way.
Oh, trouble, turn 3. One truck spins and does a huge slide through the corner. That is Jack Wood. Now he backs the truck into the outside wall at the exit of turn 4 and comes to a rest outside of the corner.
Jack Wood's truck will refire, coast down the banking. Caution is on the speedway for the first time. Jack Wood with a problem in front of Tim Catalfamo.
Jack Wood was racing in the middle of the pack and got way wide going into turn number 3. He was in the groove that really has not been worked in so far this weekend, about a couple of inches off of the outside wall, as a matter of fact. He got loose, lost the truck, spun around, and then slapped the left side of his Silverado against the turn 4 safer barrier in turn 4.
And that will slow us for the 3rd time this afternoon. The caution comes out at lap 71.
Start your engines with DQS Solutions and Staffing, proud sponsor of Michigan International Speedway. We deliver end-to-end workforce solutions in staffing, security, warehousing, transportation, and beyond. Whether you're scaling your operations or finding your next opportunity, we're driven to accelerate your business and your future. Learn more today at dqstaff.com.
NASCAR fans, get ready to feel the rush. The official NASCAR Tracks app is your ultimate race day companion. From managing your event tickets to navigating with wayfinding maps, event schedules, and facility info, it's got everything you need to make your experience unforgettable.
Ready, green flag, green
Bring
flag.
your headphones and dive into the action like never before with live scanner access.
Got a race to win, my man.
Listen in on driver and team communications at select NASCAR Tracks. Download NASCAR Tracks now on the Apple App Store or Google Play.
Carson Hocevar continues to lead under the caution flag. Jack Wood losing control of his truck all by himself. He's been able to get the truck back rolling, that is. He'll rejoin the tail end of the field, and we should be close to getting a green flag here shortly. From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Looking for motorsports coverage you can't find anywhere else? Look no further than the Motor Racing Network's lineup of weekly podcasts. NASCAR news and interviews on NASCAR Live and NASCAR Live Wide Open. NASCAR Cup Series Insight on Crew Call. NASCAR Grassroots Racing News and Talk on NASCAR Coast to Coast. And Sprint Car Talk on Wing Nation. All these and more available on podcast platforms and MRN.com.
80 million listeners depend on AM radio to always be on, delivering news, sports, talk, traffic, and weather reports you can trust. AM radio also delivers vital emergency information when you need it most. Text AM to 39179. Tell Congress to pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act to keep AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Back at Michigan, we're under caution flag number 3, 52 laps to go this afternoon in the Irish Hills. Pit road is open, and we've got some takers. Let's go downstairs to Chris.
And coming down pit road right now, a lot of some of the mid-pack drivers. Looks like Dawson Sutton is in. They're going to take a look at the rear end of his Chevy Silverado. Also, a full fuel fill, that is, for Stuart Friesen here at the back end of pit road. Steve Post.
Ben Rhodes is in. That truck has just been evil. Of course, Ben wadded it up yesterday in the practice session. They had to replace the entire right side, and the handling has just been terrible on this truck. So they come in. Rich Lucius, the crew chief, puts another wrench or two toward it, and they go on. Jack Wood Wood was in. He's the one that spun. He had a right rear tire go down, which sent him spinning. And Rajah Caruth comes in and gets pit service. He had that early flat and has been off sequence with everybody. These pit stops, lap number 73, we're about 12 or 13 laps from the fuel window opening, and I think we're a few more laps from when everyone would prefer to stop. So these stops are not the last one of the day for these automobiles who choose to do so now.
The last time the trucks raced was at the Nashville Super Speedway last week. Rajah Caruth had a near-perfect drive going to victory lane, got himself playoff eligible. Well, here today it's been anything but smooth waters for Rajah. Had the unexpected cut tire early in the race, had to make an unscheduled pit stop, lost a lap, has been battling to get back on the lead lap. He's finally been able to do that.
Yeah, right now Rajah Caruth on the racetrack, posted in the 23rd position. Let's check in with Steve Post. Posty, it's been quite a day for Rajah on that team.
It really has, and it started early. They had a tire go down right off the bat on that truck and limped around the racetrack, did not get a caution or anything to slow the field, and lost a lap in that. And they've been playing that catch-up with the lap, and they tried to go a little off sequence and do the wave around at the end of stage number 1. Well, unfortunately, they ran to their fuel window and needed to stop in the middle of that, kept them a lap down. NASCAR has allowed them to replace that tire, so when they put that final set of tires on, they will have a full set of tires and a good set of tires, but it's still been a matter of just trying to catch up and trying to hit the sequencing right for last week's winner, Rajah Caruth.
As other trucks come in to make more pit stops, top off with Sunoco fuel. Tony Breitinger is one of those drivers to do that. And Tony gets extra Sunoco fuel. You know, she's got Coach on board her truck. It's another new sponsor coming into NASCAR and exposing their line of products. Coach is a fashion brand that's been around for a long, long time. It's great to see them here in the world of NASCAR racing.
Absolutely. Always love it when we welcome in a new partner into the sport. And Coach is on the quarter panels. That would be the Coach handbags, not a coach of a stick and ball team, for those that may need the dots connected on that one. But good to have a brand like that on her truck, and obviously associating themselves with Tony. Let's talk strategy here on out. When the field comes back to the line, it'll be 50 laps to go. Todd, when does the fuel window open, and when do you want to pit once that window does open?
I think about 15 laps from now, I think the window starts to open. I don't think, we don't see a lot of lap time fall off here, so I don't think you want to be on the front side of that window. I actually think some of these people that just came down, Rajah being the first of those that came off pit road with fuel, they may be trying to stretch it on the long side of it, because if you can go long and you catch a caution, you'll trap the guys that pitted a lap down and put yourself in a better position. So without the lap time degradation, I think the opportunity here for guys to go longer than just the front side of the fuel window and pay off with an opportunity to catch a caution.
We've gotten the one-to-go signal. The drivers are choosing right now what lane to restart in. Front two in Carson Hocevar and Corey Heim have opted to restart on the outside lane. Third place Caden Honeycutt will now take the inside lane. That means he'll go from third all the way up, essentially to first on the inside of the front row. Yeah, Todd, we've seen on these restart choices that the majority of the lead trucks want to restart on the outside lane. Why would that be?
Well, that banking change we see at the first seam down there through turns 1 and 2, it allows you to roll more speed through there. You're trying to build speed and build that run off the backstretch. The guys get into turn 1 pretty much side by side, but there's a little less handling on that lower groove. It's a shorter distance, but you can't keep the momentum, and the push you get, the top line tends to prevail with rolling speed off of turn 2.
Corey Heim, even though second on the leaderboard, will opt to restart behind Carson Hocevar in the outside, and that leaves the inside lane open downstairs for Caden Honeycutt. Caden Honeycutt will restart on the inside of race leader Carson Hocevar as the field is swerving from side to side, getting ready for the restart. When they come to the line, it'll be 49 laps to go, and the checkered flag will fly here in the Irish Hills.
Look forward to how this one's going to play out with the two drivers that have dominated at the front of the field. Carson Hocevar's led 43 laps. Corey Heim has led 29 circuits. Next on the leaderboard, Caden Honeycutt, Connor Mozak, Luke Finhouse. They each have led 1 lap apiece. So those other 2 drivers in Hocevar and Heim have been the dominators. They hit the restart zone. Green flag goes back in the air. Through the gearbox they go as we race our way off to turn number 1 with 49 laps remaining.
Caden Honeycutt, who's made judicious use of the choose rule here this afternoon, gained himself another couple of spots on this one, and now he's got to run. One truck up into the outside wall. Raja Caruth hammers the outside wall in turn number 2. The truck comes sliding down off the banking, comes to rest at our feet. Heavy damage, right rear corner for the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet of Raja Caruth.
Caution flag number 4 is waving over the speedway. Raja Caruth getting tangled up in front of Dave Moody in turn 2.
Well, a bad afternoon at the races just got worse for Raja Caruth. He had fought his way back to the lead lap status, was getting busy with trying to make his way back toward the front, just snapped loose. I don't know if there was contact or not, but it slapped loose, hammered the right rear corner into the outside safer barrier. He has refired the truck and is limping his way down the back straightaway toward pit road.
The thrill of victory 7 days ago, the agony of defeat here today as his truck is torn up at the back. We worked the caution flag for the 4th time today.
Hey, I hear you think podcasts are all about true crime, huh? Well, wise guy, the iHeartRadio app's got all kinds of podcasts. We got stuff you should know and stuff they don't want you to know. We got Bobby Bones, Big Boy, and Lou Later. We got SpongeBob Binge Pants and Exotic Erotic Story Time. We got Doughboys, 2 Dudes in the Kitchen, Green Eggs and Dan. Hey, we got Elf Quest. We got podcasts for everything on the iHeartRadio app for free. If you don't download that, well, that's not just a true crime, my friend. That's criminal.
NASCAR history.
Petty wins his 200th career NASCAR victory.
Told by the people who made that history.
President Reagan was there. He got us on the front page, and we got him in the sports page. It was a good trade-off from that standpoint.
Motor Racing Network's NASCAR Live presents podcast The Road to Royalty. Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career, 50 Years of MRN, the 1993 season, Junior's Journey, and more. Search for NASCAR Live on your favorite podcast platform.
As we work the caution flag for the 4th time, Carson Hocevar is the race leader. Caden Honeycutt is 2nd. Corey Heim 3rd. Ross Chastain 4th. And Ty Majeski is 5th. From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Unused car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or RV taking up space? Put it to good use by donating it to the NASCAR Foundation. Proceeds help fund medical resources for children in our racing community. Your wheels can heal. Call 844-NASCAR-9 and we'll come tow away your vehicle for free. The process is quick and your gift is tax deductible. Call 844-NASCAR-9 to donate your vehicle to the NASCAR Foundation today. Your donation will help our children survive and thrive.
Welcome to more.
Green flag is in the air.
More action.
Photo finish.
More awesome. More smoke. More sizzle. More soar. More roar. More friends. More family. Welcome to the one place where no matter who you are, you'll leave with something you'll never forget. Welcome to NASCAR.
.47 laps to go as we get the final cleanup of the Raja Caruth crash over in turns 1 and 2 buttoned up over there. It was just basically a restart. We've had a few different angles on NASCAR TV to kind of digest what happened with Raja Caruth. He just caught in the middle, 3 wide.
Yeah, it looked like he and Matt Mills might have been both looking for the same lane. It's the chaos that is restarts, and he ended up on the losing end of that one.
So on the racetrack right now, the field comes out of turn number 4. Looks like we'll have at least 2 more laps under the caution flag before we get back under the green flag. Pit road is still closed. They will open that pit road, and we'll see if anybody decides to come down for a splash of fuel as Raja has taken his truck to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series garage.
So Raja Caruth's day is going to come to an end. He looks like if it does indeed finish, he'll end up in the 31st spot. Norm Benning is being scored 32nd. Here's a look at the full field as they run right now with 46 laps remaining. Carson Hocevar is the race leader and Caden Honeycutt is 2nd. Corey Heim goes 3rd. Ross Chastain is 4th. Ty Majeski is 5th, and Tanner Gray is 6th. Daniel Hemrick 7th. 8th is Andres Perez de Lara. 9th is Connor Mozak. And 10th is Tyler Ankrum.
Chandler Smith is 11th. Corey LaJoy is up to 12th. Lane Riggs is 13th. Grant Enfinger is 14th. Gio Ruggiero is 15th, with Matt Crafton in 16th. The pole sitter, Luke Fenhouse, is 17th, with Lawless Allen in 18th. Jake Garcia is 19th, and Matt Mills is running in 20th.
Frankie Muniz is 21st. Dawson Sutton is 22nd. Ben Rhodes is 23rd, and Jack Wood 24th. Morgan Baird 25th. Nathan Bird is 26th, and Stuart Friesen 27th. Tony Breidinger 28th. 29th is Spencer Boyd. 30th is Raja Karuth at the moment. 31st is Josh Reum, multiple laps down. And 32nd out of the race is Norm Benning.
Pit road is open, and the field is coming through turn number 4 right now. We'll see if anybody is going to duck on to the pit lane and perhaps maybe get a little splash of Sunoco Racing fuel. Caden Honeycutt, well, he was committing, and then he bails out, but a couple of others behind them will take to the pit lane. Well, a lot of drivers will take to the pit lane, the first of which is Daniel Hemrick, who pits in front of Chris Wilner.
And Joshua Graham, the late call, brought the rest of the field down. This McAnally Hilgeman Chevrolet, just fuel only for him. He's down and away. Gio Ruggiero is in as well. Fuel only. They're waiting and counting, sending him on his way. Also, Chandler Smith trying to pit for the last time and save fuel. Steve Post.
Lane Riggs is in, going to be at least right side tires, 4 tires it is, Sunoco race fuel, so they're going to fill that thing full of fuel, and they've already told him you need to save as much fuel as possible. As he gets pit service here, Ben Rhodes goes back out, and a few others, Frankie Muniz going back out on the speedway here, and this one's a long way to go, 45 laps to the end. That's a long way to go on Sunoco fuel. We'll see how this one plays out.
Yeah, you would think that this is outside the window, but if we get another caution, it might bring us into a window where this stop would have worked. So saving fuel here, you'll do all the cutoffs, engine cutoffs, coast under with the clutch in, and try to save some, maybe manufacture yourself an opportunity to get to the end.
You know, that's something that we always hear and we always talk about. Like we joke about when we come to Michigan, when they give the command to fire engines, you'll fire it up, make sure it comes to life, and shut it right back down. I've been in the turns, and the cars will coast past me under the caution flag. How much net savings does that get at the end of the day? Does that make a big enough impact if you do it enough?
Yes, yeah, it does. It does. If you look at it, if you ride around here under caution, just motor idling or whatever the motor needs to run pace car speed, you're probably going to be close to 2 to 1. So if we're making 5 miles a gallon under race conditions, you're making 10 miles a gallon. Well, there's an opportunity. Guys that are really good at it. I got to work with one that was really good at it. Obviously, he went like 5 overtimes at Nashville last year.
Joey Logano?
Yes. They can be 3 times the rate. They can get themselves to 15, 16, 17 miles a gallon. So, yeah, you hear it. It takes a lot of diligence. I mean, it's only firing up for like 3/4 of a second to burst that speed and then put yourself back in coast mode. But you can make yourself multiple laps if you have multiple cautions.
We're getting the one-to-go signal right now, and again, the opportunity to choose what lane to restart in is happening. A few drivers are peeling off the track, topping off with Sunoco fuel. Steve Post, I see a couple down in front of you.
Lane Riggs is there, and they had a little adjustment they wanted to do on the right rear of the truck, and they decided to come in and fill it with fuel, and fuel was all the way in there. In fact, fuel poured out the back of that truck. They got it so full. So, well, that was 45 laps. Now we'll see if 44 is within their fuel window.
So everybody just trying to, right now, splash, get as much as possible, and kind of impact what Todd was discussing there a moment ago. Gee, Michigan race coming down to fuel mileage? I don't think we've seen this before.
Saying that tongue-in-cheek. Yeah, this place is known for having to stretch your Sunoco fuel mileage. You can be on the good side of that and feel like a hero when you leave here, but if you're on the bad side of that, you kind of have to tuck your tail between your legs.
Yeah, it is. It's obviously one of those where you've got to work your way through it. But being in the back where you can draft, there's opportunity to start. Maybe where you were lifting 50% throttle, you'll make a commitment to 100% so that you're not burning the fuel in that point, and then using the draft to get your pace back up. I think guys could put this in a situation where they can stretch the mileage.
And all of that, key elements into being successful here at Michigan. Pace truck is on pit road. Field comes to the line. The green flag is waving. 43 laps to go. Caden Honeycutt restarting on the inside. Carson Hocevar to the outside. Everybody in tight formation, 2 and 3 wide.
Side by side into the banking at turn number 1. Everybody getting pushed. 3 wide up the middle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Guess who? Ross Chastain has come to play.
Corey Heim, the one that's getting shuffled on this restart. He was the driver that got shoved wide as a result of Chastain making that move. Chastain now goes to 3rd. Here's the battle for the lead. Caden Honeycutt ducks low, and Carson Hocevar snatches the lead away.
Caden Honeycutt slips just a bit in turn 4. Carson Hocevar keeps the outside door kicked in. He'll reassume the top spot off turn 4. Honeycutt will follow him and try to stay in the draft. From 3rd on back, it's a swarm as well.
Good situational awareness by Carson Hocevar to give Honeycutt enough room to gain control back on that truck. Here comes Chastain again. He's going to the bottom. He'll pass Honeycutt for 2nd.
A bold move by Chastain, trying to move around Caden Honeycutt for that 2nd spot. He can't complete the pass, and now here comes Corey Heim, rocketing to the inside, drives around Chastain for the 3rd position. Now here's Time Majestic trying to go around Heim for 3rd.
Heim slides up the racetrack.
Trouble turn 3, big crash. 2 trucks in the outside wall. One of them is the machine of Morgan Baird, who slapped the wall hard in the middle of the corner. The other one, impossible to tell. I believe it was Nathan Bird. They were crossed up and sideways in the middle of the corner and went straight into the outside wall hard in turn 4.
It was Nathan Bird. His red and white Chevrolet is absolutely used up. He's able to drive that truck back to the pit box. Team has no sense of urgency there on that heavily damaged truck. The other machine out there in the Morgan Baird truck, it also completely smashed in from the tailgate back towards the cab of the truck. Some way, somehow, he's able to drive that truck back to pit lane.
Yeah, they both crushed up in the back a fair amount there. Be tough to see one of those continue on, I believe.
Yeah, Morgan Bear, that is not going to buff out. I can promise you that. That truck is destroyed in the back end. Of course, they got tangled up, and that was close quarters racing, Alex, after a restart. When everybody getting tangled up together, Morgan Bear just destroying the back of his truck in what was a savage hit in front of Tim Catalfemo.
Yeah, that was a heck of a hit, Mike Bagley. It looked like those 2 trucks had gotten crossed up right going into the center of the corner. It was difficult to tell from my vantage point. I was looking to my right, and then I saw just a huge plume of smoke. Those 2 trucks went up hard into the outside wall. Morgan Baird getting the worst of the damage. Nathan Bird, though, also heavy damage to his pickup as well.
That puts us under the caution flag now for the 5th time today.
We are the voice of NASCAR.
The green flag is in the air, and we are underway. The Great American Race.
The Motor Racing Network. NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, and Craftsman Truck Series Racing live on your hometown radio station and MRN or NASCAR.com. Martinsville, Talladega, the Chicago Street Course. We have the side-by-side action and last lap passes for the win.
Photo finishes. Ryan Blaney will win.
The voice of NASCAR, the Motor Racing Network.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Hi, I'm Kyle Petty, and I want to tell you about a place that's near and dear to my heart, Victory Junction. It's a year-round camp that gives kids with complex medical and physical conditions life-changing experiences that are fun, empowering, and always free for families. Please help Victory Junction support kids who need it the most by getting involved today. Whether you know a child who could benefit, want to volunteer, or join our team, you can be a part of something truly special. Learn more by visiting victoryjunction.org.
Get ready to rev your engines, NASCAR fans. The thrill, the speed, the action. You can now experience it all for free on the NASCAR channel on Tubi. Feel the adrenaline with a library of unforgettable races from Daytona to Talladega. It's a front row seat to NASCAR history. Best of all, it's completely free. Stream anytime, anywhere on your favorite fast platform. No fees, no strings, just NASCAR. Find the NASCAR channel on your streaming device and start watching today.
Pit stops taking place. Caden Honeycutt, Ross Chastain. They are going to top things off with Sunoco fuel and head back out on the track. More trucks in front of Steve Post.
Well, the big problem on this one was Corey Heim. A lengthy stop. They had a problem on the left side, and they lost a boatload of positions on this one. We'll have to see where they cycle out and where they come around. Also in was Tanner Gray. Lane Riggs was in getting fuel service. Ty Majeski came in. Carson Hocevar came in. And we just have to see what happened there with Corey Heim's pit stop, because they went from the front to the mid-pack of the field on that pit stop here. This is lap 86. What I was told is 38 laps around on the fuel window. This is 39 to the end. So with what's expected to be a couple more caution laps, this puts them on the edge of the fuel window to make it to the end of the race.
Safety crews are tending to the wall in turn 4. We saw a couple of pieces of welding equipment, so it could be a few more laps before we go back under the green flag, which will play in to the fuel window. While we have an opportunity, let's take a look at who's getting it done out on the track. Presented by Craftsman. Your yard isn't overgrown. It's ripe with potential. Conquer whatever it throws at you with Craftsman V20 brushless RP outdoor lineup. More runtime, better performance, and fewer frustrations. See craftsman.com for details.
Well, there's quite a few that were getting it done earlier in the race, but now with 38 laps to go and 2 different strategies ongoing, it's hard to say who's getting the job done right now because things have just been shuffled up.
Yeah, if you look at it. I mean, you almost got to go to Corey Heim, who's manufactured his way into winning both stages and still in the hunt here, working forward. But Corey Heim and Scott Zipadelli have done a decent job. They're buried now. We'll see how they can come back from this one.
That is not what you were looking for in that final pit stop. Steve Post, do you have an update?
They got bigger problems. Do you remember back at Homestead where they had the mysterious engine cutting off for Corey Heim? It's happened at least twice now, once under green and once under this caution period, and it's just a blip. And Scott Zipadelli, they're trying to diagnose it from a distance. Scott Zipadelli said maybe a sensor in the engine or something, and Corey said it's not even long enough for the dash lights to go out. So he said it doesn't feel electrical as far as the ECU or any of the electrical parts of it, but it feels like a fuel to the carburetor, fuel to the engine situation there. And so they've got they're scratching their heads down here. They had that problem at Homestead, and here they are dealing with that engine cooking out again. So we had the challenging pit stop, and now we have that where the engine is cut out on Corey Heim's truck. Once under green and once since they went back on the racetrack after this pit stop here, this most recent pit stop that was a struggle.
So problems for Corey Heim. We'll update that more in a moment, but first, the red flag is coming out, and the race is being stopped because of a lot of work going on in turns 3 and 4 after this most recent crash involving Morgan Baird and Nathan Bird. There was hard contact between the 2 trucks, and Alex, as we look over into the corner, there is an army of safety workers that have welding equipment tending to the safer barrier after that intense contact.
Yeah, and if you're not quite sure what the safer barrier is, SAFER stands for Steel and Foam Energy Reduction. It's a steel, stacked steel wall on the outside that where the trucks would hit first. Then styrofoam blocks separating the steel from the concrete wall itself, the original concrete wall, and that's given to flex with that. The problem is after these trucks slammed into that steel and collapsed the wall did its job, Todd, but they did some damage to the steel there, and for safety reasons, you're going to have to bring the weld team out and make sure that is buttoned up.
Looks like maybe a bumper bar ended up piercing one of those rectangular or square steel tubes, and they're going to put a patch back over that, kind of put the integrity back together. It's a great innovation, one of the many of the pieces that came out of the tragedy of where we were in the early 2000s, and something that's worked pretty well. But with there's a gash in this one, looks like maybe a bumper bar because both of them backed into it. Just trying to get that patch back up where the integrity of the whole system's back together.
And, of course, the gentleman that is responsible for that, Dr. Dean Sicking, was recognized in January at the NASCAR Hall of Fame induction ceremony as the winner of the Landmark Award. And no doubt that is one of the biggest safety innovations that have come down the line in all of motorsports in the last several decades. Backing up to the Corey Heim situation. So Postman teased the Homestead electrical situation. We'll pause on that in a moment. Let's go to the Care Center and Chris.
Raja Karuth is out of the Care Center, and things just went bad to worse there on that last restart. What happened?
Yeah, Chris. Well, to start the day, had a hole in my right rear tire, so that was interesting to start, and then stuck a lap down and didn't get on the lead lap until the end of stage 2, and then started getting going there, and the 33 had not a good restart and went to the middle, and the 42 didn't know that we were 3 wide. So you'll have that when you're outside of the top 10 and top 15, but overall just bummed for my HendrickCars.com and Inspire Motorsports Chevrolet team. They work very hard, and not a great end to our 6-week stretch, but that was really kind of out of our control today. Just unfortunate for sure.
Yeah, the guys talked about you go from the highs to highs last week to the lows to lows, but that's racing, right? How do you put this one behind you and move on to the rest of the 6-race stretch or 5-race stretch after this?
Yeah, Chris, it's racing. I think positives, like I felt like my truck was good. It was solid in practice yesterday, and unfortunately didn't really get a chance to show it, but it just, obviously with Carson running up front, it just shows our potential is getting there, and we're getting our stuff closer. So I'm excited to come back to Pocono in 2 weeks.
All right, that's Raja Karuth. Checked and released from the Care Center. His day is over.
Yeah, tough break for Raja. He'll end up today's race in the 30th position. Josh Rayum is 10 laps down, scored 31st, but is still running. So Raja will end up falling back to the 31st spot when it's all said and done. While we continue under the red flag, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the NASCAR Racing Network. NASCAR Racing Network live at Michigan International Speedway. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250, powered by Precision Vehicle Logistics. I'm Alex Hayden alongside Mike Bagley and Todd Gordon, with Dave Moody in turns 1 and 2, Tim Catalfamo out in turns 3 and 4, and on the pit lane and garage area and care center, we have Steve Post and Chris Wilner.
We are working the 5th caution flag of this race. There's been a hard crash in turns 3 and 4. Morgan Baird and Nathan Bird got together, made contact with the outside wall. They were able to drive away from the accident scene. However, there has been damage done to the safer barrier. The welding team is taking care of that and is tending to that right now. And the field is sitting on the back straightaway while those repairs continue. Under this caution flag, there are several teams that came down the pit lane. First, there were several that stayed out on the racetrack. Grant Enfinger, Gio Ruggiero, Matt Crafton, Matt Mills, Jake Garcia, Stuart Friesen, Tony Breidinger all stayed on the racetrack. Everybody else came down for what should be the final pit stop, as the pitting window has opened to take us to the checkered flag. However, one of the drivers that pitted had a horrible pit stop in Corey Heim, and mechanical gremlins seem to be potentially on the bubbling up process for Corey Heim right now.
Yeah, it does, but while he has his problems, that means it gives a break to some of the other drivers out there with an opportunity. And with the 2 different pit strategies ongoing, guys like race leader Grant Enfinger, he is now scored as the race leader. Yet to get to victory lane this year for Enfinger, but they've got themselves in position and trying to get themselves there and solidify their playoff position.
Let's check in with Steve Post.
Carson Hocevar going to see what he does. He just did his pit service here. Brian Patty, the crew chief on it. First and foremost, Brian, just how good is your race truck here as you get ready to run to the finish of this one?
It's been pretty impressive. Obviously, the kid behind the wheels spot on. So, yeah, we'll see. We got We're still a little outside of our get-home lap, but with no one really behind us there, people trying to jump, and really they're all pretty much short on fuel, so we'll top off and clean her up and make a little dash to the finish.
Running in traffic. What are the challenges of running in traffic here at Michigan? You spent most of the race running at the front of the field. What's your expectation as far as that goes, Brian?
Well, we just kind of go off notes from yesterday, right? We practiced and passed trucks for 50 minutes, so we didn't just sit there and run single car laps yesterday. We anticipated this, so hopefully we checked all the boxes yesterday, and we'll see how it comes out.
That's Brian Patty, veteran crew chief for Carson Hocevar. Very complimentary of the driver behind the wheel, and very curious as to how this is going to go. As he indicates, all the drivers are still just a little outside of that fuel window.
Question is, Todd, when you do your calculations with some of the caution laps that we had, can anybody, in your opinion, stretch this thing out?
Dad, TBD. I think, it depends on where you're going to be. I don't know that you can run wide open up front and stretch this out. But if you're back behind some people, and the other question comes, will we see more cautions? If we see another caution or two, that will pull those cars forward into the window. As we talked about earlier, a caution can buy you, if it's 5 laps of caution, that can buy you 3 laps of running time. So because of how much fuel you can save, it's an opportunity as you go forward.
We are under the red flag at Michigan, 38 laps to go. Grant Enfinger is the leader.
Hey, I hear you think podcasts are all about true crime, huh? Well, wise guy, the iHeartRadio app's got all kinds of podcasts. We got stuff you should know and stuff they don't want you to know. We got Bobby Bones, Big Boy, and Lou Later. We got SpongeBob Binge Pants and Exotic Erotic Story Time. We got Doughboys, Two Dudes in a Kitchen, Green Eggs and Dan. Hey, we got Elf Quest. We got podcasts for everything on the iHeartRadio app for free. If you don't download that, well, that's not just a true crime, my friend. That's criminal.
NASCAR fans, the time is now to turn your love of racing into free tickets, merchandise, VIP experiences, and much, much more. Rack up fan rewards points by watching races at home, playing fantasy, completing challenges, and visiting tracks. Then redeem your points for epic prizes. You are in the driver's seat. What are you waiting for? Sign up for the free NASCAR Fan Rewards loyalty program today at NASCAR.com/fan rewards.
Grant Enfinger has just taken the lead here at Michigan under a cycle of caution flag pit stops where he stayed out. Gio Ruggiero, Matt Crafton, Matt Mills, Jake Garcia, the rest of the top 5. From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Hi, folks. Kyle Petty here. I want to tell you about a place that's dear to my heart, Victory Junction. It's a year-round camp that gives kids with complex medical and physical conditions life-changing experiences that are fun, empowering, and always free for families. Please help Victory Junction support kids who need it the most by making a donation today. Any amount will help kids attend camp for free. Help make a difference by visiting victoryjunction.org/donate.
Hey guys, Corley Joy here. Make sure you catch Stag and Pennies on all the NASCAR platforms each week. We talk to some of our greatest drivers, winners, relevant stories. You never know who's going to show up.
Hall of Famers, everything, and you're going to get the best race highlights, the best content, the best scanner audio, the best reactions, and by far the best pit road breakdowns of any other podcast. Corey, where can they hear us?
You can find us on NASCAR on Tubi, SiriusXM Channel 90, wherever you find your podcasts, or on YouTube. Go check us out.
Back at Michigan International Speedway under the red flag of the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250 here at Michigan. Right now, the safety teams are out in the corners. We're repairing the safer barrier after intense contact with Morgan Baird, Nathan Bird, making contact with the outside wall. Some damage has been done. They are welding a steel plate over top of where that damage took place, and of course, further work will be done here tonight at the racetrack. But obviously, not enough work needed to be done to get us to the end of this race, and you don't want to have that wall compromised should there be another situation situation take place over there on the racetrack.
While that continues to take place between turns 3 and 4, let's check in with Chris Wilner on the pit lane.
And this gives us an opportunity to pick the brain of Grant Enfinger's crew chief, Jeff Stankiewicz. Jeff, I know the fuel situation is tight. How short are you, and what's the game plan moving forward that you left your driver out that last caution?
Yeah, with this caution now, we're probably about a lap and a half to 2 laps short. We were 3.5 before the caution come out, but we hadn't been running very good all day. Kind of got stuck in the middle of the pack there, and trucks just don't drive very good when you're in dirty air like that. So he talks about the truck's pretty good in clean air, so we figure we're not going to drive. We're not good enough to drive up through the field where we're at right now, so we just take a chance here. And we feel confident there's probably going to be another caution, looking at the history of this race. So if we get another caution, we'll be good on fuel, but just kind of intrigued to see how our truck drives in clean air, and it could turn our whole day around for us if it works out. And if it doesn't, we have 4 tires sitting in the pits we can come in later and put on. So I didn't feel like we had much to lose by trying this.
What's the biggest thing you guys been fighting with this race truck since we dropped the green flag?
We have a little free balance firing off, but in traffic it just gets really tight, and then it just shuts off really fast, and we're having to lift in traffic. We can't keep good throttle time like those guys, and we lose so much center speed. But you can definitely tell when we lose a little distance on the guy ahead of us, we gain the speed back and we can carry the throttle. But it's like once we get close to somebody, we just get really, really tight. So we'll just see how it goes in clean air, and hopefully our lap times are a little better and we get another caution and it works out for us.
Let's get back plugged in. That's Jeff Stankiewicz. Appreciate his time talking with Grant Enfinger. And interesting strategy, Todd. I like it because you still have that set of tires, worst case scenario. But like you mentioned, I don't think we're done with cautions yet today. So do you like that call to those guys that stayed out?
Totally makes sense. When you're stuck in a position that you need clean air in your truck and this is a risk that you take, but what's the penalty? It's easier to take this risk when you're running mid-pack because you're only giving up, the loss is if I end up a lap down because I had a green flag stop or something, I lost 5-6 spots. And my potential win for this could be 15. So could be a win on the race. But it's just a lot easier to make that call and be that aggressive when you're kind of buried mid-pack.
And you have to have self-awareness to know that you did not have the raw speed to drive right up there and contend with everybody else.
There's a lot of crew chiefs that, checking your ego and saying, I can't fix this, the clean air will fix it better than I do. That's one that we all had to kind of get to the point that we realized ourselves.
I know that we heard from trackside there that there's another set of tires in that pit crew. Top 16 have another set of tires. Is that really a factor considering the tire wear isn't what it is at some other tracks?
I don't think it's as big a deal. Like, you're not going to bolt a set of tires on and drive back up through the field.
Right.
But if you have a caution, it may give you some maneuverability and ability to kind of go chase some places. I had a conversation with Ty Majeski and Joe Shear Jr. yesterday about the balance of your race truck and what between being able to be fast or being able to be aggressive with what you could do here. Joe talked a lot about the fact that he really wanted Ty to be able to make aggressive moves and to build that balance into their truck that they could be that way. A set of stickers could do that.
Speaking of Ty Majeski and Joe Shear Jr., let's go to Steve Post.
Yeah, Joe Shear Jr. is the crew chief for Ty Majeski down here. And Joe, Todd Gordon was just sharing. You and him visited and talked about maneuverability and putting a good truck together. So far, mission accomplished with your number 98 truck?
Yeah, we're having a pretty good day here. Obviously, I like to be faster than everybody else, but yeah, this strategy right here and this caution right here really threw a loop in most of us leaders here. So we think we made the right decision. We're just hoping we can get through the field, and I hope there's not many cautions left because these guys that stay out, they're in a little trouble, I think. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Are you good to make it to the end at this point?
We are good to make it to the end, just the end.
There we go. That is Joe Shear, one of the great guys here in the Truck Series Garage. Good to make it to the end. And, yeah, that's another point. Another couple cautions. What does that do to the trucks in front of them, getting them to the end of this race? This thing is upside down right now as far as strategy goes.
And I'm glad I'm not down there having to make those decisions and strategy maneuvers and calls down there, because you clearly hear it in all these crew chiefs that we're hearing from. They're not 100% sure that they've all made the right decisions, but we still have 38 laps to go.
There will always be more leaves, weeds, and yard debris. And when they show up, tackle yard cleanup with the Craftsman V20 brushless RP outdoor lineup. Delivering more runtime and better performance, the Craftsman V20 brushless RP lineup of outdoor products will help you cut, trim, and blow through whatever your yard throws at you. Your grass, no problem. Overgrown hedges, not anymore. A neighbor who won't stop distracting you with weather talk? Well, you're on your own there. But for everything else, head to Craftsman.com. Craftsman. Build on. See Craftsman.com for details.
Do you have an unused car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or RV taking up space? Put it to good use by donating it to the NASCAR Foundation. Proceeds help fund medical resources for children in our racing community. Your wheels can heal. Call 844-NASCAR-9 and we'll come tow away your vehicle for free. The process is quick and your gift is tax deductible. Call 844-NASCAR-9 to donate your vehicle to the NASCAR Foundation today. Your donation will help our children survive and thrive.
From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey guys, Corley Joy here. Make sure you catch Stag and Pennies on all the NASCAR platforms each week. We talk to some of our greatest drivers, winners, relevant stories. You never know who's going to show up.
Hall of Famers, everything, and you're going to get the best race highlights, the best content, the best scanner audio, the best reactions, and by far the best pit road breakdowns of any other podcast. Corey, where can they hear us?
You can find us on NASCAR on Tubi, SiriusXM Channel 90, wherever you find your podcasts, or on YouTube. Go check us out.
This is Ben Rhodes. You're listening to all the play-by-play action of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Repairs to the wall in between turns 3 and 4 continue down there as we sit under the red flag. Gives us a chance to go back down to the pit lane and visit with some more crew chiefs. Chris Wilner.
And that's Joshua Graham, our next visit, the crew chief for Daniel Hemrick, who made a really good call. You guys actually not only pitted at that lap 75 caution, you came back down, topped back off. I think you're probably the best truck on fuel, sitting in a pretty good spot. How did you come up with that decision?
Yeah, we just decided to top off that, or come and get fuel at the 76 caution, whatever it was. We were going to try to make it there if it ran green, or I was trying to put ourselves in either. If it did, we had to come down under green, we could do fuel only quicker than everybody else. Or like a caution came out, we could top off and put ourselves in a better situation. So right now we're the best truck on fuel. Behind a couple guys in front of us are 2 laps short, and then we got tires like 10 spots behind us. So we're in a good situation if this restart goes good.
What has been the biggest thing you and Daniel have been working on with this Chevrolet Silverado since we dropped the green flag? I know he's been relatively quiet on the radio, but obviously as a crew chief, there's always something to work on to get this truck better.
Yeah, for sure. We fired off free, and then we went tight. Usually when we start flip-flopping balances, we're pretty close. Stage 2, we got it pretty good where he was happy. We started going forward then. Got up to 6, and that's when we decided to do the fuel only. So I think the Napa Chevy's pretty good. We're good on fuel as long as it don't run too extra in overtime, and then we'll be good to go.
The Martinsville win kind of snowballed into a lot of success, a lot of consistent runs with this team. What has been the difference over the last several months with you and this group to be so consistent?
Yeah, it's all new people on this 19 Napa truck, and that win helped catapult it, but really I think it was Texas. We didn't have a good truck to fire off, and then we ended up second. I think that built a lot of confidence, and then kind of learning what he needed right there, I really took a step on knowing what he needed, and ever since then I think we've been unloading with good balance, and we've been able to actually just work on pace. Past couple of weeks have been top 8s, I think everywhere, top 3 or 4, top 5, so it's been good. Still a little bit off of the best trucks, like the 11 and the 34, but we'll keep working at it. I think we got something coming in a couple weeks to help us.
Appreciate your time. Joshua Graham going to climb back up on top of the pit box as it looks like the yellow flag guys back out.
Yeah, the yellow flag has been put out onto the racetrack, and all the welding has ceased over in turns 3 and 4. You know, talking about Daniel Hemrick, who won a race earlier this year at the Martinsville Speedway. He is playoff eligible. He's the only driver in the field this year to have completed every single lap. I just feel that there's another win in them. Perhaps maybe it could come this weekend or in the weekends to come.
That win came at the Martinsville Speedway earlier this season, and Daniel Hemrick, he's a likable young man. He's a NASCAR Xfinity Series champion with a thrilling last turn, last lap maneuver on Austin Cindric to win his Xfinity Series championship. Pit lane is open right now as the field is now rolling again. We'll find out if anybody dares to come off the racetrack. As they come to the line, there'll be 37 laps to go.
So as they come down, pit road open, anybody going to dip down there? Of course, the front 7 have stayed out. They will not come down. Looks like just everybody's going to stay on the racetrack. Nobody going to do a splash, at least on this lap. Perhaps maybe with the one to go, somebody will duck in for a splash and go, top off as it were, as we're on the cusp of the fuel window, bringing us to the conclusion of the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250 here at Michigan.
Start your engines with DQS Solutions and Staffing, proud sponsor of Michigan International Speedway. We deliver end-to-end workforce solutions in staffing, security, warehousing, transportation, and beyond. Whether you're scaling your operations or finding your next opportunity, we're driven to accelerate your business and your future. Learn more today at dqstaff.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle Petty, and I want to tell you about a place that's near and dear to my heart. Victory Junction. It's a year-round camp that gives kids with complex medical and physical conditions life-changing experiences that are fun, empowering, and always free for families. Please help Victory Junction support kids who need it the most by getting involved today. Whether you know a child who could benefit, want to volunteer, or join our team, you can be a part of something truly special. Learn more by visiting victoryjunction.org.
At Michigan International Speedway, the field is coming out of turn number 4 to get the one to go signal. Grant Enfinger is the leader. When we go back green, it'll be 35 laps remaining from Michigan International Speedway. This is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Don't risk losing the trusted news, traffic, sports, and weather you get from AM radio stations. It's time to make your voice heard. We need Congress to pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act to keep AM radio in cars. When internet and cell services are out, AM could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 39179 and tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
The message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
We are under the green flag.
Listen up, NASCAR fans. Now's the time to turn your love of racing into big-time prizes. Because NASCAR Fantasy Live is your fast lane to bragging rights.
Furious racing here.
Pick 5 drivers each week of the season. Then complete additional challenges to stack points. All for your shot at the grand prize.
So let's get this party started.
For official rules and to learn more, visit NASCAR.com/fantasy and sign up today.
Tomorrow, it's the Firekeepers Casino 400. Motor Racing Network's coverage begins at 1 o'clock Eastern from Michigan International Speedway.
We've gotten the one to go signal. We're halfway down the back straightaway, but Carson Hocevar is on pit road in front of Steve Post.
Yeah, and Carson's rolling off from pit road now, but they, wanted to top it off with fuel because we've talked about this quick or tight pit window, but they also had a little damage on the right front, and they took some time to put like a baseball bat up under the right front wheel and made sure they had good tire clearance while they had the time topping that automobile up. So Carson Hocevar, not much to lose. He was toward the back of the field, and he'll get set with a little bit more Sunoco racing fuel than everybody else.
Yeah, if you look at these trucks, trying to build everything aero-wise that they can into them, the trucks get skewed. That right front fender to tire clearance is really tight. If it gets any damage at all, it pushes in on the tire. Got some clearance there.
35 laps to go here in this race as they hit the restart zone, and the green flag goes back in the air. Matt Crafton to the inside of Grant Enfinger. The entire field now lines up, and they begin to fan out, headed to turn 1.
Enfinger with the clear advantage. By the time they get to turn number 1, they're thinking 3 wide. Daniel Hemrick to the inside of Crafton. Crafty shuts him down around the outside. To the second spot is Gio Ruggiero.
Gio Ruggiero will take that second spot away from Matt Crafton. The battle is on behind Matt Crafton. That's where you find Stuart Friesen, Daniel Hemrick, and Matt Mills mixing it up on the entry at turn number 3. Here's Hemrick pulling to the inside of Stuart Friesen. He'll take fourth. He wants third from Crafton.
Oh, there's a rugby scrum going on further back. We got trucks bouncing off the wall. Everybody's snaking to the inside. They keep him in a straight line, but everybody was washing around the racetrack. Tyler Ankrum, the one that got the heave-ho up into the fence. Green flag stays out. The field's in 2.
Here comes Grant Enfinger leading by 2 truck lengths over Ruggiero in second. Daniel Hemrick third. Crafton fourth. Stuart Friesen completes the top 5.
Matt Crafton starting to feel a little bit of heat from Stuart Friesen, who is all over his back tailgate going down the back straightaway. That is the battle for 4th. Up front, Grant Enfinger leads Gio Ruggiero by a truck length. Daniel Hemrick quietly now in 3rd.
Gio Ruggiero had never even been to the Michigan International Speedway till he got here yesterday and got inside the truck for practice. He went out, had a solid run in the ARCA Menard Series race, and right now finds himself racing 2nd.
I think he's beginning to like the place, although he's got all kinds of trouble at the back door. Daniel Hemrick gives him a kick in the tailgate into turn number 1. Ruggiero fends him off. Here's the challenge for 4th around the outside. Stuart Friesen.
Stuart Friesen able to sweep around the outside of Matt Crafton. He will also take the machine of Tanner Gray with him. Jake Garcia also passes Matt Crafton before they get to turn 3. So Crafton just lost 3 spots on the back straightaway.
Let's drop further back and pick up a driver that's trying to make his way back to the front. Corey Heim had a horrible pit stop a couple of pit stops ago. Has gotten mired towards the back of the pack. He's up to the 14th position right now. He'll go flying around the outside of Ben Rhodes, Dave. That young man's got a lot of ground to make up.
He's still got a fast race truck, but he's got a long way to go. Tyler Ankrum limping down on the apron. Flat right side tires on that machine after a joust with the wall in turn 4 a couple of laps ago.
Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Grant Enfinger still trying to fend off Gio Ruggiero. Ruggiero took a look to the inside on the back straightaway, but decided to tuck in line and follow the leader off of 4.
They come back to the start-finish line. 31 laps to go this time by. Todd, it's very physical racing out there here in this restart.
Yeah, I think Caden Honeycutt got in the wall off of 2 coming down pit road here.
Hayden Honeycutt comes to pit road. That'll be at lap 94 as the leaders head for the backstretch.
And they are 3 wide for the number 5 position. Down to the bottom, Sanchez will pick it up. Ross Chastain loses 1 spot, but comes right back at him.
All that traffic works its way down the long backstretch here at Michigan International Speedway. Ross Chastain able to maneuver around Stuart Friesen. Now Friesen has got to deal with the machine of Jake Garcia.
Caden Honeycutt gets right side tires changed on his truck. He'll pull back out on the racetrack, but he will lose a lap. His great day is going to fall to the wayside. Up front, it's Grant Enfinger. Clean air is king. He's got the lead.
Couple of truck lengths the advantage over Gio Ruggiero, who rides in second. 3, maybe 4 more back to the 4th place truck of Tanner Gray. They continue to go at it hot and heavy from 4th on back. That's where Ross Chastain's got a challenge.
And Ross Chastain drove it in really deep in turn number 1 and slid right across the bow of Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick giving him some drafting assistance going down the backstretch. Chastain will take away 4th. Hemrick back to 5th. Side by side for 6 on the corner.
Stuart Friesen in the outside line there, just trying to hang on to that race truck. Matter of fact, he will hang on to the race truck and hang on to the spot right in front of Lane Riggs. While up front, it's all Grant Enfinger. However, his mirrors are filled, Dave.
They are indeed. Gio Ruggiero's just a truck length back. 1 more back to Gray, 2 more back to Ross Chastain. Then it's 5 to Daniel Hemrick.
And the driver that is on the move is Lane Riggs. He jumps up to the outside of Stuart Friesen, completes the pass, and now Lane Riggs is going to go after Daniel Hemrick. That's the battle for 5th. Further up, the battle for 2nd is on. Tanner Gray looking outside of Gio Ruggiero.
Ruggiero strong on the bottom of the racetrack. He'll hang on to the runner-up spot for the moment. Tanner Gray falls back, has to rethink his maneuver now. now as they race back towards turn number 1.
He'll take it to the outside lane. That's the side-by-side battle for position number 5. Hemrick on the inside, trying to fend off the assault as they run side-by-side. Give the spot to Lane Riggs. They're 2 abreast in front of him for 3rd.
That's where you find Ross Chastain and Tanner Gray. They are still door-to-door. Now here comes Daniel Hemrick into the mix and Lane Riggs. It's a 4-truck battle for the 3rd spot through turns 3 and 4.
Watching the battle for 3rd on back. Tanner Gray with his hands full. Daniel Hemrick right there. Ross Chastain rooting and gouging. And they're soon to be joined by Corey Heim, who has now cracked his way into the top 10. He goes to 10th. He goes to 9th. Now he goes to position number 7 off the end of the front straightaway.
He sails underneath the Stuart Friesen machine with relative ease going into turn number 1. And now tries to close on the lead gap. They're wheel-to-wheel around the outside. Riggs will take the 4th spot.
Lane Riggs picks up another position. He moves around Daniel Hemrick, so now Riggs is in the 4th spot. He looks ahead at Tanner Gray. Tanner Gray, meanwhile, still continuing to pester Gio Ruggiero for 2nd.
He's going to get a good run, this time on the outside of Gio Ruggiero, but slips coming off of turn number 4. Ruggiero again will slide right back across the nose of Gray. Gray's got more problems on the tailgate in the form of Lane Riggs.
Lane Riggs, an uncharacteristically quiet afternoon until just recently, but he is on the hunt now. He's going to go the hard way around the outside of Gray, now onto the back bumper of Ruggiero.
Lane Riggs and his F-150 on the charge right now, pulling right behind the back bumper of Gio Ruggiero. Chevrolet leads the way. That's Grant Enfinger. Toyota is 2nd. That's Gio Ruggiero. Lane Riggs in the Ford runs 3rd.
So you've got about 8 trucks in this battle, 7 trucks. The final one is Corey Heim, but the one that's getting the most pub right now is Lane Riggs. He is rolling through this field right now, and Davey is hunkered up on the back bumper of Gio Ruggiero for a battle for 2nd.
And maybe not for long either. He looks to the outside, takes a quick peek into turn 1. Nothing much there. He's not done being challenged either because Tanner Gray is right there. He's going to dig a hole to the inside.
Tanner Gray wants a piece of Lane Riggs. This is the ongoing battle for 3rd. Right now, Lane Riggs has it, trying to block Tanner Gray going down the backstretch. Into turn 3, Riggs lets his truck drift up. So does Tanner Gray. Here comes Corey Heim in the 5th spot.
Corey Heim is a driver that is methodically working his way back towards the front of the field. Heim has led 29 laps so far here today. Things tighten up again. Top 6 trucks are right together.
Front 6 have broken away. Then it's about 8, maybe 10 truck lengths back to Daniel Hemrick, who rides in 7th. Side-by-side battle for the number 3 spot. Gray inside, washes up the banking, nearly gets into Riggs and has to bail out.
And here comes Corey Heim and I believe Ross Chastain that will now move around the Tanner Gray truck. So Chastain will go to 4th. Corey Heim in 5th. Tanner Gray has been shuffled outside of the top 5.
Tanner Gray had a great run going into turn 1 that last lap, but in the middle of turn 2, that truck washed up and he lost a lot of momentum and a couple of spots to boot. 23 laps to go. Grant Enfinger leads over Gio Ruggiero, Lane Riggs, Ross Chastain, Corey Heim. They are the top 5. Tanner Gray, Daniel Hemrick. You've got Jake Garcia, Carson Hocevar, and Chandler Smith. The rest of the top 10. Leaders have exited turn 2 and race up the back straightaway.
Grant Enfinger trying to break the draft, zigzagging going down the back stretch as he has got Gio Ruggiero, Lane Riggs, and Ross Chastain all lined up at the back door. It's still Enfinger, though, the leader out of 4.
He's going to open up 3.5 truck lengths. Big question is, for the front 2 in Grant Enfinger and Gio Ruggiero, they have 6 less laps of fuel than everybody else, Todd Gordon. They said that they were about 1.5 laps short from the advertised distance, and you can't really save a lot of fuel when you're running at the front.
Yeah, running up front, that's going to be worse fuel mileage. You're not getting a hand of anybody's draft. You're wide open getting around there at a situation where they almost need a caution to make this strategy work for them.
Lane Riggs has gotten around Gio Ruggiero as they tighten up in turn 3.
And he's going after the leader. Here comes Lane Riggs from the bottom of the racetrack. 1 truck length behind Grant Enfinger.
He can't quite get there as Enfinger hangs on to the top spot. For the number 4 spot, Ross Chastain is under attack. Chastain restarted 19th. He's up to 4th and trying to hang on desperately to that position.
Corey Heim trying to take it away. Ross Chastain plays a little defense going into 1. Now he's going to go on offense in turn 2. He'll look to the outside of Gio Ruggiero for 3rd.
Chastain going top shelf out of turn number 2. Gets alongside Gio Ruggiero, and here he will complete the pass into turn number 3. Chastain will move into the 3rd spot. He's watching this good battle for the race lead, continuing in front of him with Trent Enfinger and Lane Riggs.
Corey Heim trying to move to the inside of Gio Ruggiero in a battle for the number 4 position. Heim started to run, had to back away when the truck started to skate up the racetrack for him. So here we are with 20 to go. Grant Enfinger in control over Lane Riggs, who has had a fast race truck. Dave, he's trying to take advantage of it even more.
Lane Riggs is stout right now. He's taken 3 spots with outside lane passes. Now he's hunting the bottom, trying to overhaul Enfinger.
Enfinger and Lane Riggs in lockstep formation, setting up for turn number 3. Nose to tail. Here's Riggs in his F-150, taking his truck to the bottom. Enfinger throws the block out of 4.
Enfinger will maintain the top spot. Riggs will fall back in line 2nd. Side by side now for the number 3 position. Gio Ruggiero to the inside. Ross Chastain is outside. Interested onlooker right behind is Corey Heim.
Side by side into turn number 1. Heim will make it 3 wide if somebody gives him any room. They do not. For the moment, it's Ruggiero to 3rd. Chastain back to 4th. Heim in 5th.
A moment ago, Caden Honeycutt with a flat right front tire just coasted his way through turns 3 and 4. He is off of the racetrack. The battle for the lead now into the corner. Lane Riggs trailing the race leader, Grant Enfinger, by 2 truck lengths. Chastain going after Gio Ruggiero.
That would be the battle for 3rd, right in front of Corey Heim. And now Carson Hocevar, after pitting for fuel a few laps ago, has made his way back through the field. He now is a contender. He is broken into the top 6 with 18 laps to go.
There does not appear to be a whole lot of fuel conservation going on from 2nd on back. They are just throwing haymakers at each other. And here comes Lane Riggs looking for the lead.
Lane Riggs continuing to pressure the back bumper of Grant Enfinger. Both Enfinger and Lane Riggs have pulled away from the rest of the drivers inside of the top 10. It is man-to-man now for the race lead.
17 laps to go here in this one. Grant Enfinger got the track position, got the clean air, and right now he's hoping he's got enough Sunoco fuel in the tank and hoping, Dave, that he can hang on to the top spot.
A wily veteran throwing every trick he's got in the bag right now, trying to keep Lane Riggs and company behind him. So far it's worked. Riggs 2 truck lengths back in 2nd. 4 more back to Ross Chastain.
Chastain, Gio Ruggiero, and Corey Heim starting to work together a little bit, drafting as they go down these long straightaways. They are gaining on the top 2 in front of them. As a matter of fact, the top 5 make the top 6 trucks all knotted up, exiting 4.
Drivers taking different lines coming to the corner. Grant Enfinger, more of a bottom feeder, along with Lane Riggs. You had Ross Chastain taking a sniff to the outside. Gio Ruggiero, Corey Heim, Carson Hocevar, all there in this ongoing battle for the winner here in Michigan.
Here comes Riggs. He dives to the inside on entry into turn number 1. Lane Riggs to the inside. Hasn't got him cleared. Squeeze out of turn number 2. Riggs has the lead, but it's not over yet.
Riggs couldn't get the job done. He now races side by side with Grant Enfinger. Here comes the machine of Lane Riggs and the machine of Ross Chastain. Chastain takes 2nd. Now he goes after the leader.
And that leader is still Grant Enfinger. He'll look in the mirror and see Ross Chastain on the hunt. Chastain right underneath the spoiler. Lane Riggs is there. 4th place is Corey Heim. They continue to race in a knot back to turn 1.
Here comes the Melon Man on the hunt for the lead. He shoves Enfinger deep into turn number 1. Grabs a handful of wheel. Turns to the left. Comes to the inside. They're side by side off turn number 2.
Same thing that happened to Lane Riggs a lap ago. Chastain got to the inside of Grant Enfinger, but couldn't complete the pass. They're 3 wide. Lane Riggs to the bottom. Chastain in the middle. Enfinger up top. Giving
advantage to Lane Riggs.
Enfinger will bail out, but Ross Chastain has not. Chastain will keep it wound up at the top of the racetrack, and these fans in Michigan are loving what they are seeing. Here's Chastain. He'll lead at the line. Enfinger goes to the bottom. Riggs tries to throw the block in this free-for-all for the point.
What a run by Enfinger. He got a clean draft to the inside, went 3 wide to the bottom, bypassed Chastain, bypassed Riggs. Enfinger back to the lead.
Fantastic racing in the closing stages of this race. Grant Enfinger has got the top spot. Ross Chastain currently holds down second. Corey Heim wheel to wheel with Lane Riggs for the third position.
And Heim will get in front of Riggs and now go to work on the second place truck of Ross Chastain. They come up off turn number 4. Down to the line, 13 laps remaining. Still, second on back is absolutely wild as the leader, Grant Enfinger, just tries to get away.
Corey Heim tried to go to the outside of Ross Chastain. Chastain through the high block. Heim got into the back of him. He got gathered up from behind by Riggs. Everybody gets away for the moment. They're single file.
They all seem to make it off of turn number 2 cleanly. The top 6 trucks still single file, but running very different lanes when they get to the turns. Here's Carson Hocevar ducking to the bottom on Chastain. He'll take second away.
Carson Hocevar is trying to take second away. He'll do that. Now he's trying to take the lead back. Again, the fans are on their feet at Michigan. Hocevar starts a run to the inside. Chastain comes flying around the back of the outside to take second. Heim to the inside of Hocevar for third.
Down to the inside. Here comes Chastain. He dials up the low groove underneath Grant Enfinger. Chastain back to the lead. Enfinger second. Corey Heim third. Into the outside wall goes Lane Riggs.
Lane Riggs may have bounced off the outside wall out of turn number 2. Carson Hocevar goes by. So does Gio Ruggiero. So now it's Riggs getting shuffled outside of the top 5.
Here they come through turns 3 and 4. Lane Riggs is going to stay on the racetrack this time by. He will not bring the truck to the pit lane. Further back, as they begin to run down some lap trucks, that's going to shuffle up the deck a little bit in turn 1.
Ross Chastain's going to lead their way into turn number 1, but maybe not for long. Here comes the challenge topside. Riggs is in the fence, riding the safer barrier at 2. Ross Chastain spins, or does he? Oh my heart, what a save by Ross Chastain.
What a save by Chastain indeed. It allows Carson Hocevar now to go to the lead by about 10 truck lengths. The battle side by side for second in turn 3 is Gio Ruggiero and Corey Heim.
The racing at Michigan with these trucks is absolutely insanity right now, and the fans are loving it. We hope you're enjoying it as well here on the NASCAR Racing Network. 10 laps to go. Ross Chastain, Dave, almost throwing it all away. He's regained it and kept the lead.
I thought he was headed for the infield for a plate of bratwurst off the grill. I don't know how he saved it. He lost some spots. Hocevar inherits the lead. Chastain with some damage on the right side.
Caution is on the speedway. There is a tire carcass that came off of the Lane Riggs truck that has found itself all by its lonesome on the racing surface. Debris on the racetrack from Lane Riggs as he makes his way to the pit lane with now 10 laps remaining.
Hey, I hear you think podcasts are all about true crime, huh? Well, wise guy, the iHeartRadio app's got all kinds of podcasts. We got stuff you should know and stuff they don't want you to know. We got Bobby Bones, Big Boy, and Lou Later. We got SpongeBob Binge Pants and Exotic Erotic Story Time. We got Doughboys, Two Dudes in a Kitchen, Green Eggs and Dan. Hey, we got Elf Quest. We got podcasts for everything on the iHeartRadio app for free. If you don't download that, well, that's not just a true crime, my friend. That's criminal.
Hi, folks. Kyle Petty here. I want to tell you about a place that's dear to my heart, Victory Junction. It's a year-round camp that gives kids with complex medical and physical conditions life-changing experiences that are fun, empowering, and always free for families. Please help Victory Junction support kids who need it the most by making a donation today. Any amount will help kids attend camp for free. Help make a difference by visiting victoryjunction.org/donate.
From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
More than 200 members of Congress are standing up for AM radio listeners. The AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act will keep AM radio in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 39179. Tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
The message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
From legendary races to heart-pounding finishes, NASCAR Channel is your 24/7 pit stop for all things NASCAR. Streaming classic moments, iconic rivalries, and behind-the-scenes stories from the world's greatest drivers. Dive into the NASCAR culture with shows about the cars, the teams, and the personalities that make it America's most exciting motorsport. Best of all, it's completely free. Stream anytime, anywhere. No fees, no strings, just NASCAR. Start streaming now on Tubi.
This is Raja Karuth. You're listening to all the play-by-play action of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Working the caution flag here for the 6th time in the race at Michigan International Speedway. It came out with the debris from the Lane Riggs truck, but Mike, there's a lot of developing stories that are taking place under this caution.
And one of them involves the race leader. Steve Post, can you explain?
Carson Hocevar, there was some contact out on the racetrack with another truck into the left front, and I believe the radio traffic says that they're worried that that left front tire has got a leak in it right now. There's a lot of cussing on the radio. There's a lot of dramatic language on the radio right now, and we're just waiting to see if the crew gets up on pit wall and brings Carson Hocevar down. But they feel like they've got a lot of damage on the left front and possibly a tire going down, so we'll see how that unfolds.
That would be a left rear from the contact I believe he had with Ross Chastain as he was making the pass, but looking at it now, the left rear is flat on the inner liner. They're going to have to come to pit road.
So right now, Carson Hocevar is riding the white line behind the safety truck coming out of turn number 4. Pit road is open if he wants to come down and take advantage of it, and he will. And he will not be alone. It'll be Carson Hocevar coming to pit road with 8 to go. Make that 7 to go. Grant Enfinger coming in. Tony Breidinger as well. Chandler Smith and others. We begin with Chris Wilner.
The crew applauding Grant Enfinger for the CR7 Motorsports Group for being aggressive. But remember, they were going to be short on fuel. So crew chief Jeff Stankiewicz said, let's go ahead and pump the tire pressures up. Put 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles on it and see what we can do. Matt Crafton is in. Stuart Friesen is in. And Ross Chastain is in. Remember, he had that nice save, or that was the plan, I should say. They left him out on the racetrack, but Grant Enfinger down and away, as well as Chandler Smith also opted to come in under the caution. Steve?
Yeah, Carson Hocevar is in. They put 4 tires on, including replacing that left rear flat tire on the Delaware Life Chevy Silverado. He's back down and away, and very frustrated. They raced their way all the way back to the front, only to have it go away here late stages. Got Ben Rhodes on pit road. Tyler Ankrum has had multiple pit stops. Lane Riggs, they can't keep a right front tire on that truck without exploding it, and so lots of activity here on pit road here on lap 118 with 7 to go.
Tell you what, folks, to be having a calm stage 1 and a calm stage 2, this final stage of this race today has been very active. We had a caution lap 71 for Jack Wood spinning in turn 4. Raja Karuth spun in turn 2 at lap 76. Morgan Baird, Nathan Bird crashing at lap 84, putting us under the red flag. And now this caution for debris coming out at quite an advantageous time for several folks that had problems on the racetrack.
Well, it's advantageous for Carson Hocevar. He had a left rear tire going flat. If we'd have stayed green, he'd have never made it. So this at least keeps him in the game. But right now, as they come to the line, there'll be 6 laps to go. We have, and we will get the 1 to go signal, as Rich Keeter on top of the flag stand lets us know that. Gio Ruggiero is the race leader. 20-year-old out of Seekonk, Massachusetts, in his 13th career start, driving for Tricon Garage, has his teammate and series championship point leader in Corey Heim behind him. The opportunity to choose what lane to restart. Those two, first and second, choose the outside lane. Ross Chastain in third will go to the bottom of the racetrack.
Tanner Gray will go to the bottom. Connor Mosack will go to the bottom. Also, Corey LaJoy will take his Spire Motorsports Chevrolet to the bottom of the racetrack. And when we come back to the line, the green will fly with 5 laps to go. And perhaps maybe we've not seen the end of the shenanigans on the racetrack. That last set of racing we had was pretty intense, with trucks bobbing and weaving 2 and 3 wide, leaning on each other, almost spinning out. That was some dramatic racing. We talked about it, Alex, at the top of the broadcast, that these trucks, while their beginnings were on the short tracks, when NASCAR brought the tough trucks of NASCAR to these big racetracks like Michigan and also Fontana, they put on one whale of a show, and everybody's been getting their money's worth today.
They are not the most aerodynamic vehicles in the world at all, so that helps out with the draft and being able to put the racing on that we see. Now, Carson Hocevar, who was the race leader, had the flat left rear tire, will restart 13th with 5 laps to go when they come back around to take the green flag. The other thing to put in this equation is race leader Gio Ruggiero. He was on the same pit strategy as Grant Enfinger, who was going to be a lap and a half short on fuel. Enfinger just came to pit road. Ruggiero stays on the racetrack.
The other driver involved in that pit sequence, the Jake Garcia truck as well, pitted back on lap 80.
And one of the pieces I'd be concerned about here, just with the banking you've got, 18 degrees around here, does the pickup become uncovered, and on this green flag, does it sputter?
Here they come up off of turn number 4 as they get set to go back under the green flag. They hit the restart zone in just a moment. There will be 5 laps to go. Fans on their feet. Green is in the air. Ross Chastain spins the tires. They're crashing at the front of the field. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trucks involved. Getting through is Corey LaJoie. Corey LaJoie comes from the middle of the pack. He will be scored the race leader. They did not come up to speed. It looked like Ross Chastain spun his tires on the restart and got sideways. Gio Ruggiero did the same thing. Todd Gordon and everybody stacked them up.
Yeah, it looked like Gio had control of it, and I don't know if he spun his tires, if he checked up there. I'm not sure what happened, but the front row had chaotic start.
And the entire pack basically blew apart before they even got to the start-finish line. After the tires started spinning, nobody had anywhere to go. They were trying to stay in line, but then trucks were spinning all over the place.
By rule, you have to stay in line until you get to the start-finish line when they take the green. So when it happens, you've got to be in order here. So crazy happenings here.
So on the racetrack right now, Corey LaJoie got through all the spinning trucks. And when we say spinning trucks, there were at least a dozen trucks, including Corey Heim and Ross Chastain and Gio Ruggiero. We're going to wait for all the damaged vehicles to make their way through. Tyler Ankrum got a piece of that. We mentioned Gio Ruggiero, Tanner Gray, Lane Riggs. Also, the truck of Connor Mosack got a piece. Chandler Smith, Ross Chastain, Corey Heim. There were a slew of drivers that really crashed and collided. Daniel Hemrick got a piece of that, and Ty Majeski, Jack Wood. The bigger question, Alex, who didn't get a piece of that?
Yeah, you're right about that. And NASCAR Race Control sorting things out right now on who got through there when the caution flies. Remember, the field is frozen, so they got to sort that out as well. Todd, as they hit the restart zone on older tires, everybody was rambunctious, and here we are with a pile of trucks that are crashed. Everybody has been able to drive away from the crash site.
Looked like lane 2 got a launch on both of them. Both of our front row leaders kind of got jacked up and crossed up here. But Steve Post?
3 of the 4 corners of Corey Heim's truck are trashed here. On it, they're working on the front. The left front is tore off from it. The right front seems to be the worst over there. A lot of damage on that. Looks like damage on the right rear as well. So a lot of damage on that truck, and he was just frustrated that he was in that second row and kind of got accordioned in the middle of it and got caught up in that one, and they're just tearing the parts and pieces away. 2 pit boxes behind him. Here's Tanner Gray. They've got damage on the right front of that automobile, so right front damage for Tanner Gray. But looking down pit road, man, there's a bunch of wounded trucks. Chris Wilder, how about wounded vehicles in front of you?
Well, that wounded vehicle is Ross Chastain. You can hear it in the background, the Sawzall just absolutely cutting away some of the sheet metal on the left rear quarter panel of his Chevrolet. They're trying to get at least some clearance to not rub on that left rear tire. The right rear also caved in as well. The deck lid as well. Severe rear end damage for Ross. He was absolutely dejected on the radio as he brought this truck down pit road. The Nice Motorsports crew continuing. They got a baseball bat down here too to start to hammer away at some of the damage, but certainly this is a day ender for Ross Chastain's hopes at victory as they continue to cut away some of the sheet metal from his mangled machine.
Well, as they got through and have recycled around, the new race leader is actually going to be Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick was the one that got through. He was leading when the caution flag came out. Corey LaJoy is now second. Dawson Sutton is third. Jake Garcia is fourth. Lawless Allen is fifth.
Frankie Muniz right now is in the sixth position. Carson Hocevar got through that. He is in seventh. Grant Enfinger is eighth. Stuart Friesen ninth. Andres Perez is 10th. And we are no doubt going to be heading to a two-lap shootout here in the Irish Hills after the front of the field basically hasn't come apart on the most recent restart.
There will always be more leaves, weeds, and yard debris. And when they show up, tackle yard cleanup with the Craftsman V20 brushless RP outdoor lineup. Delivering more runtime and better performance, the Craftsman V20 brushless RP lineup of outdoor products will help you cut, trim, and blow through whatever your yard throws at you. Your grass, no problem. Overgrown hedges, not anymore. A neighbor who won't stop distracting you with weather talk? Well, you're on your own there. But for everything else, head to Craftsman.com. Craftsman. Build on. See Craftsman.com for details.
Do you have an unused car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or RV taking up space? Put it to good use by donating it to the NASCAR Foundation. Proceeds help fund medical resources for children in our racing community. Your wheels can heal. Call 844-NASCAR-9 and we'll come tow away your vehicle for free. The process is quick and your gift is tax deductible. Call 844-NASCAR-9 to donate your vehicle to the NASCAR Foundation today. Your donation will help our children survive and thrive.
We are under the caution flag here at Michigan International Speedway. It is the caution flag, the seventh one of the afternoon. A lot of activity taking place on the pit road. From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey guys, Corey LaJoy here. Make sure you catch Stag and Pennies on all the NASCAR platforms each week. We talk to some of our greatest drivers, winners, relevant stories. You never know who's going to show up.
Hall of Famers, everything. And you're going to get the best race highlights, the best content, the best scanner audio, the best reactions, and by far the best pit road breakdowns of any other podcast. Corey, where can they hear us?
You can find us on NASCAR on Tubi, SiriusXM Channel 90, wherever you find your podcasts, or on YouTube. Go check us out.
Tomorrow, it's the Firekeepers Casino 400. Motor Racing Network's coverage begins at 1 o'clock Eastern from Michigan International Speedway.
We continue under the caution flag here at Michigan. When the field comes to the line, they will have completed the 124th lap. 125 is the scheduled distance. We no doubt will be going to NASCAR overtime as we continue through the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250. A calm first half of the race, but Alex, a very eventful back half of the race.
Yeah, it has been, and that's just kind of the way this one has worked out. But when we've been under the green flag, it has been wild racing out there all the way around. Daniel Hemrick, looks like NASCAR has adjusted scoring. Daniel Hemrick was being scored the leader. He has now been moved back to the number 3 position. Corey LaJoy has now been scored as the race leader, and Dawson Sutton is now being scored in the number 2 spot with Hemrick third.
And our top 5 trucks haven't been to pit road since lap 86, and really our 4th place truck of Jake Garcia, lap 80. I'm not sure whether they've got enough laps or fuel left in these trucks to get themselves to the checkered flag.
Behind that, the trucks with the most recent trip to pit road involved Lawless Allen. Lawless and company pitted at lap 118. That was the same lap that Carson Hocevar came down, Grant Enfinger, Stuart Friesen, Matt Mills, Matt Crafton, Ben Rhodes, Spencer Boyd, and Luke Fenhouse. the top 5, Alex Pickens, could get slim in the fuel department here.
It could be. 4 of the current top 5 have never won a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race, including race leader Corey LaJoie. Second place, Dawson Sutton has never won. 4th place, Jake Garcia, and 5th place, Frankie Muniz. The only one in the top 5 that has is Daniel Hemrick in 3rd.
Right now, the field is coming to the line. It's going to be the 1-to-go signal. Here's a refresher for NASCAR overtime. When they come to the line and they take the green flag, that will begin NASCAR overtime. They have to get back to the white flag without a caution. If a caution comes out on that green flag lap, we're going to put the caution back out. We're going to do it all again. Once the leader takes the white flag, the next flag will end the race. Either it be yellow or black and white checkered. So we're going to give it a go. Unlimited attempts if we have to put the caution out before the white flag flies. We'll see how it all unfolds, as it's been a very rambunctious ending to this race today. Let's hope all the shenanigans have concluded for the balance of this race.
What a moment it is right now for Dawson Sutton, headed overtime here at Michigan. He'll restart by choice on the inside of the front row. Dawson Sutton, a 19-year-old out of Lebanon, Tennessee, making his 20th career Craftsman Truck Series start, has got himself at least a shot now to try to get his first career win. So what a drive for Dawson Sutton to get through the big crash.
There are so many stories inside of the top 10 right now of drivers either, winning their first race in the series, perhaps maybe resurrecting challenges in their seasons from challenges prior this season, scoring a top 5 or a top 10. Look at Frankie Muniz. We talked earlier about the year of challenge and struggle that driver and that team have. And through the cadence of events, finds himself on the cusp of his first ever top 5 finish in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
And let's be aware of Carson Hocevar inside of row 3. This is going to be one of those restarts. There's so many places to watch this restart.
Well, we'll find out how it plays out as we are in overtime here with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Pace truck will make its way to the pit lane. Got to get through the restart zone. That was a challenge last time. Green flag goes in the air, and through the gearbox we go. Frankie Muniz on the inside row doesn't come up to speed. That's going to leave a big void and a scramble further back. On the outside of the front row, it's Corey LaJoie showing the way.
LaJoie has the top spot. Daniel Hemrick follows him around for second, but that may not last long. Jumping to the bottom of the racetrack, taking over the 2 spot is Jake Garcia. We've got another truck up into the wall at the exit of turn 2.
One truck bounces hard off the wall at the exit of turn 2. Everyone continues on. It looks like it's the Lawless Allen machine. In turn 3, Corey LaJoie has got a fierce challenge. Oh, trouble! One truck pounds the wall hard. It's Daniel Hemrick. He walloped the wall tremendously hard in the middle of the corner.
Caution is on the speedway. 2 situations happening, one in turn 2 for Lawless Allen, and a savage hit for Daniel Hemrick in front of Tim in turn 3.
Daniel Hemrick did not look like he slowed down at all going into turn 3. That truck just went straight and I say pounded the wall extremely hard. The entire right side is completely torn apart. It looks like there is damage on the left side of his Silverado as well. A hard hit for Daniel Hemrick into the turn 3 wall.
We are headed for double overtime here with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at Michigan. Let's pause now 10 seconds for station identification on the NASCAR Racing Network. NASCAR Racing Network live at the Michigan International Speedway. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series putting on a thriller today in the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250, powered by Precision Vehicle Logistics. I'm Alex Hayden, Mike Bagley, Todd Gordon in the broadcast booth, with Dave Moody and Tim Catalfamo in the turns, Steve Post and Chris Wilner on the pit lane.
It's been a very eventful ending to the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250 here at Michigan. The most recent caution flag, the 8th one of the race, brought out when Daniel Hemrick made contact with the outside wall in turn 3. Right prior to that, Lawless Allen just side slammed the wall in his Tricon Garage Toyota. Right now, Lawless is trying to turn into the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series garage, but basically that truck won't turn. A wrecker has been pulled in to try to pull that truck into the garage. Right in front of that is where Daniel Hemrick's truck has come into the pit lane with a lot of damage on the right side of it. Now, he got damage in that big scrum that we had on the restart, so there was some damage I'm sure he was trying to nurse to the finish. But when you flush all of this out, when all of this gets sifted through, Corey LaJoie is the leader. Jake Garcia is second, Grant Enfinger is third, Dawson Sutton is fourth, and Ben Rhodes is fifth. Stuart Friesen is sixth, Carson Hocevar is seventh, Luke Fenhouse, Matt Mills, Matt Crafton all round out the top 10.
Frankie Muniz back to 11th. Remember, on that last restart, he did not come up to speed with everybody else, and that sent that inside lane scattering once they passed the start-finish line. Muniz being scored 11th. Andres Perez de Lara is 12th. 13th is Lane Riggs. Gio Ruggiero is 14th. Spencer Boyd is 15th. Tony Breidinger is 16th. Jack Wood 17th. Ty Majeski is 18th. Chandler Smith 19th. And Corey Heim is 20th.
Tanner Gray is 21st. Daniel Hemrick right now posted in the 22nd position. Lawless Allen 23rd. Connor Mosack is 24th. And Ross Chastain is 25th. Caden Honeycutt is posted in 26th. Tyler Ankrum is 27th. Josh Rayum is 28th, with Morgan Baird 29th. Nathan Bird in 30th. Rajah Caruth and Norm Benning posted in 31st and 32nd positions accordingly.
Now the big question comes, Todd Gordon. How much Sunoco fuel do these trucks towards the front of the field have? We've got different strategies up there, but some trucks that ought to be awfully low on fuel.
Yeah, I don't think our front row makes it to the end. I really don't. You look at Jake Garcia pitting at lap 80. He's just riding around here, and Corey LaJoie, lap 86. You've got Dawson Sutton fourth in lap 86 as well. Enfinger has got fuel to get there. We'll see where it all gets to, but let's go down to pit road. Chris Wilner?
Todd Daniel Hemrick is out of his McAnally Hilgeman Chevrolet. I know you were trying to manage the damage there at the end after the previous incident, but first of all, are you okay? That was a hard lick.
Yeah, I'm fine. Everyone in Metro, I build safe race cars, race trucks. Yeah, I hate to have a completely destroyed Napa Auto Care Silverado there, but gosh, with one in the bank from earlier this year, you can take that chance, but you definitely don't want to end up like that. But yeah, actually I felt like we're in a pretty good spot there. I felt okay about the damage, not great. As soon as we got to speed there on the restart, I had a lot of tire smoke, and it kind of cleared up down the backstretch for a minute, and got to the right rear of 13, getting into 3, and as soon as I got to his right rear, went to turn the corner, and it popped immediately. So yeah, not ideal, but proud of the fight, proud of this group. We came a long way throughout the race today, and yeah, take the off week and go to Pocono, try to rebound.
Glad you're all right. He's going to go get checked out at the care center, but Daniel Hemrick's day is done. And he mentioned the damage. That was from the previous restart where the entire field stacked up. He had about a pretty decent-sized baseball hole in the front splitter, kind of the left front headlight, and it ultimately, as you heard, led to the cut-down tire.
This one is still very much up for grabs on who could win this race as the field comes to the entrance to pit lane. Green light comes on to driver's left. If you want to pit without penalty, now's the time to do it. Front 10 are not coming to pit lane. I don't anticipate anybody, with the exception of maybe some back markers who had some damage on their trucks from previous crashes.
Alex, you just brought up a great point. You've got these other drivers up there with that alternate pitting sequence. You've got Corey LaJoie last pitted lap 86, Jake Garcia lap 80, Grant Enfinger lap 118. Well, we've had a lot of wrecking in the last few minutes here on restarts and the laps that ensue the restarts. Now the challenge is, if we can get beyond the crashing, now you're going to have drivers running out of gas on the racetrack. That's all a part of the stew that's making up this recipe for the end of this race today. I don't know what's coming out up next.
No, I don't either, but misfortune for one is good fortune for another. With all these problems we've had, it has been a miserable weekend for Ben Rhodes. But right now, as we head for double overtime, Ben Rhodes is up to the number 5 position, trying to salvage a finish out of what's been a rotten weekend.
And that weekend didn't start off the best in the world yesterday.
No, it was lap 1 or lap 2. They cut a right front tire and ended up in the wall. They had this truck down, wrap off of it, bondoing the side of it. The tail of this truck was taken off yesterday when I walked through the garage. It looked like disassembly from a torn up race truck, and they put it back together, got themselves in position, just continue to cycle through. This restart with these guys on low fuel up front. We saw it on the last time. I talked about Carson Hocevar, third on the inside. Frankie Muniz didn't get going. That really shuffled him back because you can't make a move around him until you get to start-finish line. We'll see how the potluck of picking lanes is behind these low-fuel trucks.
Ross Chastain, involved in a wreck a couple of cautions ago, has just been retired from the event due to the damaged vehicle policy. The time basically expired, and he's taken that truck to the garage. So Ross Chastain will be, let's see, 2, 4, 6. He'll be the 7th truck out of this race here today. Right now on the racetrack, the field's getting the one-to-go signal. We're going to try overtime one more time.
Corey LaJoie, the first to choose, opts for the outside lane. Second to choose, Jake Garcia. He'll go to the inside of the front row. So Garcia inside of LaJoie. Grant Enfinger goes topside. Dawson Sutton goes to the bottom of the speedway. And we'll line them up and do it all over again. Second overtime attempt.
While everybody gets sorted out with their choose and coming to the restart, we invite you to join us tomorrow on Motor Racing Network at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. NASCAR Live Race Day on the air. The NASCAR Cup cars will take center stage in the Firekeepers Casino 400 here at Michigan International Speedway. Always put on a great show when we come to Michigan. These trucks, the Cup cars, and the Cup cars will definitely be putting on another good one tomorrow. Their 108th time racing at this legendary racetrack. Chase Briscoe and Kyle Busch will start on the front row for that one tomorrow. Again, 1 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow will be the air time for the Firekeepers Casino 400.
Got to get this one in the books first, however, and the pace truck lights are out, and that will make its way to the pit lane here once it gets around to the front side of this 2-mile facility. A restart has been troublesome here in the last couple of opportunities. We'll see if everybody can get through the restart cleanly. Those who are low on Sunoco fuel, specifically the front row, and Corey LaJoie and Jake Garcia, the onus is going to be on them right now to set the pace to get this going once we get around to the restart zone, which they're making their way to right now as Rich Keeter on top of the flag stand looks them over close. Race leader LaJoie is on the gas. Green flag goes back in the air. Double overtime for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. LaJoie has no choice but to go to the lead because Grant Enfinger is shoving him for all he's worth.
Enfinger right up his tailpipe all the way to turn 1. Now will drop to the bottom and go to the lead. Grant Enfinger under LaJoie. He takes the top spot. LaJoie second, and believe it or not, Ben Rhodes is third.
Enfinger, the leader, trying to run as fast as he can. Here comes Corey LaJoie sniffing a draft. Oh, there's wrecking in the back of the pack. One truck spins down to the bottom of the racetrack, and there they go. Jack Wood spins on the back straightaway. Matt Mills, it also looks like, collected in that. A 2-truck crash on the back straightaway. Tony Breininger also has heavy right front damage to her Toyota Tundra.
Caution is out again. It is the 9th one. They couldn't get it sorted out on the back straightaway. Bouncing off each other. Matt Mills getting turned into the wall and others piling in as well. And that will put us under the caution flag, and it will send us into triple overtime.
Start your engines with DQS Solutions and Staffing, proud sponsor of Michigan International Speedway. We deliver end-to-end workforce solutions in staffing, security, warehousing, transportation, and beyond. Whether you're scaling your operations or finding your next opportunity, we're driven to accelerate your business and your future. Learn more today at dqstaff.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle Petty, and I want to tell you about a place that's near and dear to my heart. Victory Junction. It's a year-round camp that gives kids with complex medical and physical conditions life-changing experiences that are fun, empowering, and always free for families. Please help Victory Junction support kids who need it the most by getting involved today. Whether you know a child who could benefit, want to volunteer, or join our team, you can be a part of something truly special. Learn more by visiting victoryjunction.org.
From Michigan International Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Don't risk losing the trusted news, traffic, sports, and weather you get from AM radio stations. It's time to make your voice heard. We need Congress to pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act to keep AM radio in cars. When internet and cell services are out, AM could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 39179 and tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
The message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
We are under the green flag.
Listen up, NASCAR fans. Now's the time to turn your love of racing into big-time prizes. Because NASCAR Fantasy Live is your fast lane to bragging rights.
Furious racing here.
Pick 5 drivers each week of the season. Then complete additional challenges to stack points. All for your shot at the grand prize.
So let's get this party started.
For official rules and to learn more, visit NASCAR.com/fantasy and sign up today.
Tomorrow, it's the Firekeepers Casino 400. Motor Racing Network's coverage begins at 1 o'clock Eastern from Michigan International Speedway.
Back at Michigan, we are getting ready to go into triple overtime for the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250. The most recent caution, the 9th one of the race, was brought out when Matt Mills got turned into the backstretch wall. He then was clipped by Jack Wood, who then was clipped by Tony Breitinger. Tip of the cap to Ty Majeski. He drove right in the middle through it all and did not wrinkle up the truck, but that 3-truck collision on the back straightaway has put us back under the caution flag and setting up another attempt for overtime.
Well, Steve Post, how concerned are some of these teams on Sunoco fuel?
Very. It's just, they really, truly are. And just listening to the conversation, not only are they concerned about Sunoco racing fuel, but they're concerned about the trucks in front of them on Sunoco racing fuel. And so, some of the drivers, some of the trucks feel like they're in good shape. Those ones that came down pit road and topped off with fuel, like Elaine Riggs and some of the trucks like that. But they're concerned about the trucks running out of fuel in front of them coming to the restart. So I don't know. I don't recall. It's been a long time since I've seen one as topsy-turvy as this, and just no clue who's going to win this thing. No clue who's going to do well. Carson Hocevar was in a really, really good spot. He's leaving pit road because why not pit when you have to restart at the back because of a restart violation? This thing has had a little bit of everything, and I'm not sure with low fuel in some of these fuel tanks, the shenanigans might not be over yet as we try to go through triple overtime.
Yeah, Carson Hocevar was penalized for a restart violation on the last restart. He just came down pit road along with Jake Garcia, a couple of other trucks as well. They have gotten their service. They will pull back out onto the racetrack, and hopefully we will go back under the green flag here sooner rather than later.
Yeah, as we get set for triple overtime for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Again, you just don't know who's going to be the one that will end up in victory lane. Boy, Grant Enfinger and that team, they certainly need a win to solidify their playoff position. But Corey LaJoie now has 9 races this year. That deal was just announced recently in the Truck Series this year. So LaJoie coming back and trying to get a win, a first career win for him in the Truck Series. Ben Rhodes with a miserable weekend. We talked about that. He is 3rd right now. Stuart Friesen's had an awful season. He's being scored 4th. And what about Matt Crafton? Matt Crafton's a driver that he's a champion of this series, and he has had a rough go of it as of late. Had a great qualifying effort, qualified 3rd today, but that seems like a week ago when we had qualifying here this morning. But right now, Crafton's back in the top 5, up to 5th.
There is one driver that has concerns about fuel, and that's Corey LaJoie, who will restart in the 2nd position. The field is getting the 1 to go, and they're choosing as we speak.
Took outside of row 2. I thought Corey LaJoie would go to the front row. That let Stuart Friesen take the bottom row on the inside.
So that is going to really shuffle things up just a bit, as Grant Enfinger will be the first to choose the outside lane. Front row, inside will be Stuart Friesen, outside Grant Enfinger. Row 2, pole winner Luke Fenhouse to the inside of Corey LaJoie. Row 3, Andres Perez de Lara and Ben Rhodes. Spencer Boyd to the inside of Matt Crafton in row 4. Chandler Smith and Lane Riggs inside of row number 5.
Well, we're going to rack them, re-rack them, and try it all again. And again, just to remind you, as far as the overtime rules are concerned, we have unlimited attempts if the caution flag flies before the leaders get back to the start-finish line to take the white flag. Once the leaders take the white flag, one of 2 flags will end the race after that. Either another yellow or when everybody comes back around to take the black and white checkered flag. Let's hope that we can get back to the white flag and we can declare a winner in the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250. The field is doubled up behind the safety truck, and we're getting ready to go at it again to see who can win this race today in the Irish Hills.
Whoever wins it will have earned it after everything that's happened here in the second half of today's race. That Chevrolet Silverado pace truck has the Whelen Engineering lights turned out. It will head to pit lane, and back to the restart zone we go again. Carson Hocevar again starting at the back of the field because of the restart violation from the last time. And we hit the green flag as we go back under the green. Triple overtime. Stuart Friesen, Grant Enfinger side by side, racing for the lead to turn one.
Knock on wood, at least for the moment, it is a clean and orderly start. They are side by side for the lead. Friesen on the inside, Enfinger on the outside, nose to nose for the number one spot as they race to the backstretch.
They're still double wide for the race lead. Halfway down the back straightaway, Grant Enfinger on the outside. Stuart Friesen right alongside of them. They remain in that formation as they race to three. Stuart Friesen drives it in deep, gets a half a truck length out in front. Now a full truck length. Friesen the leader out of form.
Here they come out of turn number 4. Stuart Friesen takes the lead from Grant Enfinger. White flag is in the air, and the leaders take it. The next flag ends the race. Stuart Friesen on his way to win one of 2025.
Final time at turn number 1, but it's not over yet. Friesen just inches up now on Grant Enfinger, who is right on his back bumper. Third place machine off turn number 2 is Luke Fenhouse.
Does Enfinger have an answer? He pulls up right behind Stuart Friesen, possibly going to try to slingshot his way by. Friesen blocks the bottom in turn number 3. Enfinger now looks high. He looks low. Friesen leads out of 4 for the final time.
Stuart Friesen washes up the racetrack. Here's Grant Enfinger. Does he have enough? He's tied up on the draft. Grant Enfinger tries to pull out of line. Checkered flag in the air, and Stuart Friesen wins the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250 at Michigan. Stuart Friesen, it took him triple overtime, but he is a winner in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Stuart Friesen with a drive and a great restart picks up his 4th career win. Friesen gets the win. Grant Enfinger 2nd, Luke Fenhouse is 3rd, Ben Rhodes is 4th, and Corey LaJoie finishes 5th. Let's go to pit road.
The Hallmar Friesen camp absolutely losing it here in the pit box. Crew Chief Jimmy Villanueva, I tell you what, he's just stunned as we are. This team has been through so much, and for your driver to go 72 races without a win, I know it's been a hard-fought season. You've battled adversity, but what does this one mean for you and your driver today?
Just means great for all the men and women at Hallmar Friesen Racing. We're 15 of us against all these monster teams. It's just great. It's hard to words. You know, that man that puts so much. Mr. Larson does so much for us. Al Hickey does so much for us. It's just great. This is a David and Goliath story.
Congratulations, Jimmy. Winning crew chief, I tell you, this there are tears in everyone's eyes. This was a long-awaited return to victory lane for this entire Hallmar Friesen group.
And this is going to be an emotional victory lane from Stuart Friesen. He just brought his truck to the start-finish line, nosed it into the outside wall, did a mini burnout. He has coasted back down the banking and now sits on the start-finish line. We will chat with him and the rest of the top finishers as our post-race coverage from Michigan continues.
Welcome to more. More action. More awesome. More smoke. More sizzle. More soar. More roar. More friends. More family. Welcome to the one place where no matter who you are, you'll leave with something you'll never forget. Welcome to Pocono, June 20th through the 22nd. Get your tickets now at PoconoRaceway.com.
Want to know the latest with short track racing around the country? Well, one show has you covered, NASCAR Coast to Coast. Hi, I'm Chris Wilner. Join me each week as we break down the biggest headlines in grassroots racing and in NASCAR's regional and touring series. We'll also talk with rising stars from your favorite short track. Once again, it's NASCAR Coast to Coast, and you can watch or listen today on YouTube, Facebook, MRN.com, or on your favorite podcast platform.
NASCAR Live Race Day continues on the NASCAR Racing Network.
We're back at Michigan International Speedway. Stuart Friesen has just taken the checkered flag, and he's just did a little mini fence climb, and the crew has greeted him at the start-finish line, and it is a well-deserved win for that gentleman from Niagara of the Lakes, Ontario, Canada. And I'm sure we'll hear a lot of emotion out of that man in just a moment. Let's check in with Steve Post on pit road.
Well, what a day. What a weekend down here for Ben Rhodes. Ben, I look up at the scoring pylon and see you finished fourth. I'm not sure this is how you scripted it, but how did you finish fourth here today?
Yeah, no idea. Everybody wrecked in front of me, and we were just avoiding wrecks. I think the fans certainly got what they paid for today. A lot of action, a lot of aggressive driving, right? And when you don't have the best truck, you got to take care of it, and you got to work on it all day long, and that's what we did. And taking care of it paid off. When everybody else made mistakes, we just tried to be there and take advantage of it. And that feels good for our Bommarito Automotive Group F-150 to get them in the top 5. They've been a great partner of ours for a long time now, and we want to get them a win. Came close today, but got to do some homework and build a little bit faster race trucks.
Way to gut it out, though. Ben Rhodes with a 4th place finish here today.
It was a great drive, and one that no doubt will give them a big smile. Now let's hear from Corey LaJoie, who was able to salvage a 5th place finish.
How about this? A top 5 in his return to the Truck Series. Corey LaJoie, there was one point you just came out of nowhere. The seas parted on that restart, and suddenly you were in the top 3. Walk us through just the chaoticness of this race.
I mean, I've made a living by, I feel like my entire career has been bad luck, and then all like the seas parted, like you said, and I was like, hang on a second, this isn't supposed to happen to me when there's nobody in front and we inherit the lead. So we controlled a couple restarts, felt pretty good. Once those tires got there, it was hard to defend, and I'm still kicking myself for choosing second outside. That guy prevailed like 80% of the time, so just not that time. We couldn't launch very well. Man, dang it.
Hey, but he's off to a good start. Race 1 of 9 on the season for Corey LaJoie. Ends up with a top 5 finish, Steve.
Luke Fenhouse led us to green here today. You told us before the race you'd like a solid day with a top 10 finish. I'm not sure how the solid day went, but you end up with a 3rd place finish. Just kind of describe your day and what you learned here today.
Yeah, I mean, overall not a bad result. Day was up and down, right? I mean, we put ourselves in a lot of different situations, which I'm happy about. It's a big learning curve for me, and just happy to bring home a clean truck and a fast truck. We had speed early on, and showed it early in the race, and then got back in traffic and struggled back there heavily, and then that's clean air and dirty air for you. So just a huge learning day for me and my team, and good momentum for ThorSport, and hopefully we can keep building on it and keep going in the right direction.
Mission accomplished. Lots of learning for Luke Fenhouse with that 3rd place run here today.
Got a pole position to start this race off and comes home with a top 3 finish. So, yeah, I would call that a successful afternoon for Luke Fenhouse, as Stuart Friesen now is finally making his way to the black and white painted victory lane that is right here, right across the wall from the pit lane beside the start-finish line. And we're about to hear from a very happy and emotional Stuart Friesen. The celebration he did down here with the crowd just a moment ago, there were tears in his eyes. He was fired up, and how much this actually means to him and that race team. Tremendous effort.
Walked out of the Care Center at Rockingham not knowing if he wanted to do this anymore, but he kept his head down, kept digging, elbows up, and through a series of strange events today, finds himself in victory lane, ready to talk with Chris Wilner.
Stuart Friesen climbs out of the race truck to the welcome by his crew, the Waterworks here in Michigan International Speedway victory lane. 72 race winless streak is no more for Stuart Friesen. Big smile on your face, Stuart. I don't even know where to begin with this one. Last week, you lost some 50 points. You were 100-plus points out of the playoffs. Now you punched your ticket the best way possible with a win. How do you describe your day today in getting this truck to victory lane?
Well, it certainly wasn't very good to start. Fought free. Then we got on the tight side of it. Luckily, had enough cautions to keep working on it. And then just, we were swinging the pendulum back and forth. And we just nailed it there right at the end for those last couple laps. And had a little bit of a strategy there. If I figured Corey might take the front row with Grant, and then I'd line up behind Ben and just shove the heck out of the top. And then when we did, I was like, all right, I'll take it and try to get the best launch I could. And we got a killer launch, and just had enough clean air and enough speed to get this thing up front.
These late restarts, you have a lot of time to think and basically try to predict what's going to happen. How hard is it as a driver to make the right decision?
It's tough, there's so much stuff going on. Obviously, at the end of this race, it got wild with different strategies. We had to be on the safe side just because we fought handling all day, but then we got it good where it counted. Thank you to all you race fans. This is the first place I ever came to watch a NASCAR race with my grandfather back in the 90s, and a lot of memories. And my parents are here. It's freaking awesome. Thanks to everybody at Halmar, Mohawk Northeast, 1ZTs, all our great product sponsors, TRD. And we'll celebrate this one for a couple days.
Stewie, your crew chief Jimmy had tears in his eyes on the pit box. We saw you salute the fans, tears in your eyes. There was a moment this season you maybe thought, why do I keep doing this? Well, you're now going to the postseason, and you end a 72-race winless streak. How do you describe this moment?
Yeah, you hit it on the head there. There was many times over the last couple of years, why do we keep going? Made a lot of changes a couple of years ago. Jess and I are involved everything in the day-to-day to booking hotel rooms and flights and bills and everything else, and it's a labor of love, man. We love racing. This whole group loves racing. Me and Jimmy have been, we talk on the phone every day. Our relationship continues to grow, and I'm just so proud of these guys. Proud of the guys that hang the bodies and build the chassis at the shop. This is my favorite truck. It's our baby, and Jimmy's still not allowed to sell this one.
Go celebrate.
All right, thank you.
Stuart Friesen, a winner here at Michigan, breaking that 72-race winless streak. How about it, Steve Post?
Grant Enfinger down here. Grant, describe your emotion here. Second place run today.
Yeah, a little bittersweet. We had opportunity, obviously. We weren't a great champion power equipment Chevy at the beginning of the race, but man, Jeff never gave up. He made big swings on every pit stop, made some gutsy calls, and hats off to him and Tim Feataway because they kept us in this race. They gave us the opportunity to win it. Feel like obviously that second to last restart, we executed that well. Felt like, I was hoping we'd make it back to the white at that point. But even so, felt really good about it on that last green-white checkered and got a good launch and got through the gears. And Stewart didn't have much help. I didn't have much help. I still felt like we'd be all right off of turn 2. And I don't know, just Corey, I don't think could get too much of a run towards me, and maybe I should have side drafted Stewart more going into 3. I don't know. I haven't seen a replay. I was worried about covering top with the guys behind us coming with the run too, and Stewart was just able to clear us, and that's all she wrote. So congratulations to those guys. I feel like our CR7 Champion Power Equipment Chevy, we showed we got a lot of fight. We still got work to do, but I'm proud of our guys, and yeah, a little bittersweet today.
Bittersweet. That wraps it up for Grant Enfinger with the second place finish here this afternoon.
And we have now heard from all 5 of the top 5 finishers. Here's how they finished here at Michigan today. Stuart Friesen gets the win. Grant Enfinger was second. Luke Finhouse came home third. Fourth was Ben Rhodes, and Corey LaJoie was fifth. Matt Crafton sixth. Jake Garcia was seventh. Chandler Smith was eighth. Andres Perez de Lara was ninth, and Lane Riggs was 10th.
Carson Hocevar finished 11th. Gio Ruggiero was 12th. Dawson Sutton was 13th. Frankie Muniz 14th, and Ty Majeski was 15th. Spencer Boyd was 16th. Tanner Gray 17th. Corey Heim finished 18th today. 19th to Connor Mosack, and Jack Wood finished in 20th.
Caden Honeycutt was 21st. Tony Breidinger 22nd. Matt Mills 23rd. Tyler Ankrum was 24th. Josh Rayum 25th. Ross Chastain was 26th. Daniel Hemrick 27th. Lawless Allen 28th. Morgan Baird was 29th. Bird was 30th. Carruth 31st. And Norm Benning was 32nd. That'll put a wrap on things today. Todd Gordon, another wild and great truck race as we welcome them back to Michigan.
Yeah, what a great race today, and just hopefully this is a prerequisite to what brings tomorrow.
NASCAR Cup Series Firekeepers Casino 400 tomorrow. Big thanks to Dave Moody and to Tim Catalfamo out in the turns, to Steve Post and Solutions and Staffing 250. So long from Michigan.